Hello, hello, good evening! Welcome to another Great Ace Attorney stream. Hell yeah! I thought long and hard about what I wanted to stream tonight. I was thinking like, damn, do I start another game? Hello, do I start another game for, you know, the Wednesday, Sunday things? And then I was like, no, I'm going to stream Ace Attorney so we can get started on the 5th case and hopefully get somewhere. So we don't have to wait an entire week for, you know, the rest of it, because doing the entire case in one stream I know is impossible for me. My voice will not be able to do that. And also I don't want... I want to finally know the truth. I don't want to wait any longer. Tweet tag is only helpful if you have it on screen. Understandable. But that's okay. That's why I announce, or I try to announce most things like everywhere, like on Discord, on Twitter, whatever. Hello. Even though you're excited for more Ace Attorney, I'm glad. You're all excited. I'm also excited. Let's quickly review what we know. You know, for one, because I need to really think and get back into the game. Because technically, this is still... How do I say this? It's a new case, but we're still in the same trial that we started on in the 4th case, right? Like, while the case ended, it's still the same trial. The trial is because, what's his name? Gregson, the detective, was murdered, and Van Zieks is being accused of murdering him. Seeing as he is, for one, the person we are representing in court, we are obviously like, oh no, he's innocent, so it can't be him. But we are currently somehow in the middle of also uncovering the secret that it seems like the entire country, or a few very influential people in this country, have hidden 10 years ago, which has to do with the mass murderer. Is it a mass murderer if he just killed 5 people? I mean, 5 people is still, you know, 5 more people than a normal person should kill, but you know what I'm trying to say. The professor, who's also the one responsible for having killed Van Zieks' older brother, who was also a prosecutor. We are already aware that there's several people involved. There has to be something going on. I've said it several times that I very much think that... what's his name? Why can't I... Strongheart! Ha! I did not forget his name this time. That Strongheart is a very suspicious individual. We already know that Scythe, the woman who did the autopsies, was somehow involved. But I feel like she's not inherently evil. I feel like she was probably forced to do stuff like this. We like her daughter. That's a very interesting lady who was also already asked by Strongheart to kind of conceal details in this case, because he told her to not write down the time of death in the autopsy report, which we found out last time that it's a possibility that Gregson could have been killed, like we said the day before, and just if you just kept the body cool, like iced. The problem being, we don't know of any places where you could keep an entire body, because keep in mind, this is not modern times, this is 1800 something, so they're not that modern yet. Hello, good evening. But we're going to probably be jumping right back into the trial. We are still on trial against Kazuma, who is trying very, very hard to get revenge and find the truth, but he's a little too bent on the whole revenge thingy. Like, I feel like he's losing sight of himself. We're also trying to find the truth, and by God, we will find it. But I feel like he's trying a little too hard here. So let's see what we can get now. What else have we found out? Is there anything I missed? I think that's about it. Like, there's definitely something going on. Some things suspicious. Oh, the entire thing about Genshin Asogi, Kazuma's father. When he was in jail, he was not supposed to have any writing on him, any writing utensils, but he did have a piece of, like, he was able to write something down, but those papers are nowhere, apparently. But then the chief of the entire, I was about to say hospital, the entire prison, then gave us some, which are apparently those papers. I'm not quite sure about that, not gonna lie, but that was another important thing, I think. I'm going to share my thoughts before we get in on this. I still don't think it was Genshin Asogi who was the professor. It doesn't seem like the type of thing this character was written to do. Oh, you want me to say my thoughts in Uwu? Or do you just want me to say... Straight teleporting people meant some fancy smoke guns and blood coloring stuff. Okay, my thoughts in Uwu. So 2 minutes. Okay, see. I don't think Genshin Asogi is the killer. I don't think he was the professor. I think he's set up. He's been set up. I think he may have been involved with the real killer. Maybe he found out who the real killer is or something. I think Strongheart is a very suspicious individual. I don't think Strongheart was the one who killed. Like, not directly. He's not the type of character who would go around stabbing people, whatever, or sicking their dog on them. But I think Strongheart is someone who probably made good use of seeing or finding out that someone had killed people who had a great deal of power. Because imagine these aristocrats at the time, they're kind of untouchable. Seeing as what time this takes place in, right? They're still very much like, it was unheard of. It was unheard of to even do an autopsy on an aristocrat, because the only autopsy report we have is the one on Van Ziek's brother, on Clint himself, and that was already unheard of at the time. So there's probably something hidden there as well. You're just impressed how you managed to keep track of the plots. It's too I play games for myself privately as well. So there's even more games to keep track of. It's like if you'd ask me, because the thing is, once I open up the game to stream, I just think back on, okay, what did we do last time? And as soon as I see it, it kind of comes back. I don't think I could tell you all this in the greatest detail ever if you just stopped me on the street. But it's actually the same. I privately, for myself, I read a bunch of manga. And according to my anime list, where I have a profile, which is not up to date, sadly, but according to that thing, I read over 100. I'm currently reading over 100 series because there's a lot of them still ongoing. It's like, I may not know every single plot detail, but as soon as I take the next volume and read again, I'm back in the world. So I can remember it. It sounds impressive, thank you. No, it's something I'm passionate about. Because it's like, this is just what I feel like. Me as a streamer, it's a little weird. I just feel bad if I didn't know what happened. And like, if you come into a stream and the streamer doesn't know what's going on, how are you supposed to know what's going on? But that's just me. Maybe that's just me. I obviously also forget stuff, but this about the Ace Attorney games is just, I love theorizing about the stuff and then seeing how right or wrong I was at the end of the game, because I mean, this is my sixth? If you count them both as separate entities, it's the 7th Ace Attorney game I've ever played. No, wait, the 8th, if you count the Professor Layton Grace. Whatever. I've played a few Ace Attorney games before, not all of them yet. I do like to think that I know what they would go for. Because you can, like, I'm used to the writing style they have. So if you're completely new to Ace Attorney, the entire thing, if this was your first Ace Attorney game, I think you would run into way more blocks, maybe, and because you're not used to how the writers would go. Meanwhile, I can see, so I feel, I mean, we haven't seen the end yet. I could be completely off the mark here. But I feel like I can see a lot of similarities in other characters and storylines they have written, which is why I am feeling very sure of my theories this time around. So I'm so pumped to find out what it is about, if I'm wrong or if I'm right or anything. You can't even keep track of the plot of this game. That's also fine. That's completely fine. That's why we're here, right? I play and I just keep talking and you guys just sit back and relax and form your own thoughts. That's what we're here for, right? So now that is out of the way, I think we know what happened now. So we're just going to jump right into chapter 5, which is the final, it says there as well. Final chapter, the resolve of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Oh! It actually has our name in it! Woo! It's the first Ace Attorney series you watched, but you're loving it? Oh, I'm glad. While it is one of the later entries in the entire series, this came out originally in 2015 on the 3DS. It's just, it hasn't been translated before. There was a fan translation for the entirety of the first game and a fan translation they started on for the second game. But I think they probably stopped it because it's now officially out. But I think they really put their all into these. Like, so far, it definitely feels, from what I've played, they're very... It's like the essence of every Ace Attorney game I have touched so far. Like this, while this one is also not without faults, it feels like this is really where they came together, where they put a bunch of stuff in it, like the best of the best. But maybe that... I'm just so... Like, everyone I've heard talk about this game, they all... Like, everyone who played it before when it was out in Japanese, they were all very, very impressed. Then when they played it with the fan translation, the people were so impressed, and now that it's officially out, I've had a few friends who already finished playing the game, and they're all like, It's great. You really have to play it. And I mean, I've been playing it. It's just me as a streamer, I'm obviously behind on everyone. If I had not started streaming this game, I probably would have really, I don't know, sat down when I had a long weekend or anything and just really rushed through it. Which, I mean, also would have brought me to the end, but I really enjoy it this way because of the breaks I have to take. I really enjoy it because I have to think and be like, wait, does that make sense? It's a bit hard to escape all the spoilers online. Like, not even written spoilers, more like fan art spoilers. Because I feel like the few fan arts, even if they're not spoilery, that I've seen might have influenced some of my reasoning. Because there might have been things like, oh, like completely offhandedly, and then I think about this game and go like, I saw that in a fan art once, but I think we're good. You keep talking and we listen, yes! You come here for new Ace Attorney's a bonus, aww! And thank you for the hybrid time. Okay, hold on. No, I'm so pumped for this game. I don't think it can disappoint me. And the more, like, I'm not trying to hype it up too much, obviously, but I pretty much love all of the characters, and I have so many theories, and the more of them that are proven right with every step I take in this game, I'm like, yes, we're getting closer. Can you tell that I'm hyped for the end of this? We're not going to be able to see the end of it today, but we definitely, like, the further I get today, the easier it will be on Saturday. Alright. Also, I got the card I had been waiting for in a gacha game today. I was saving up for it and I got it, so I'm even more because I was really lucky today. Alrighty. It's just a bit. It's just a tiny bit. Oh, and now I clicked out of the game. That was not where I wanted to click. Here we go. Let's hope I won't have any of the hiccups we had last time, though. 3rd November, 9:14 AM, the Old Bailey Defendant's Antechamber. So, the time's finally come. Yes, it's finally there! Today, we unravel everything! Ooh. He's as pumped as I am. I'll be counting on your support more than ever today, Mr. Sato. Wait! Hold on, I forgot one point. There was this entire reveal that Mr. Shom's partner was her dad. And then there was this weird implication that Iris might be his daughter, which is not true. It's not true. But yeah, that was a thing. So that's probably why she's still looking this, not happy. I wouldn't be either. Like, I think her dad is a very loyal man. I don't think he would, while he was a student here. No, that doesn't even add up. It wouldn't even add up, timing-wise, because Iris was born 10 years ago. It wouldn't add up timing-wise, so she's definitely not her father's daughter. Who did I say last time? I think I said she could be Clint's daughter. So she would be Van Ziek's niece. I'm looking forward to finding out, because that is a mystery. Who exactly is Iris's dad? That is a mystery. And I have my theories. It's just a theory. A game theory. Mr. Sato. Okay. Understandable. You were startled, so you... Okay. Oh no, what's the matter, Mr. Naruto? Nothing. I was just saying that I'll be relying on your support today, but... I'm so sorry, of course. I know I can be rather incompetent at times, but I shan't let you down. You have literally never been incompetent. What are you talking about? Would you mind helping me to my feet then? Oh dear, I'm really very sorry. I love her. I wish they would make, you know, we've not finished this one, but I wish they would make another one where we could play as her again in court, because we only had that one case where she hid who she was. It was cool. But sadly, this series is over. After the end of this game, they're done with it, I guess. We got one new piece of artwork for the anniversary stuff. Kind of. They teased one. We don't have a HD version of it yet, but they teased one singular new piece of artwork for it, but that's it. Susato-san isn't her usual self at all. But that's hardly surprising, I suppose. She's just found out that her father is the partner of a world-famous detective. Not to mention... good morning, sir. Wait, who are we saying good morning to? Van Zieks? Ah, Van Zieks. Lord Van Zieks. I wonder if these two would ever start saying each other's first names. Probably not. It's not really a thing they do. Thank you for all your efforts yesterday. What? Did I hear that correctly? He said thank you! No way! What? Oh, nothing. Just, I hope we can clear things up today. I really can't make this man out. His face says I hate you, but his words are almost jovial today. In fact, he hasn't been very Reaper-like at all since this all began yesterday. Lord Van Zieks isn't a Reaper, Mr. Naruhodo. Good point. Are you reading my thoughts again? The Reaper. I suppose in hindsight, I shouldn't have allowed that misconception to go unchallenged. Yeah, it probably would have saved us some trouble, but it's okay. Huh? It was my tacit acceptance of the pseudonym. My failure to stop the Reaper becoming something more than a mere legend that led to all this. But you're not to blame for that, Lord Van Zieks. You were set up. Definitely, you were set up. It's only because serious crime in the capital dropped off so sharply when the public started calling you that. That's why you didn't say anything, isn't it? To be frank, I'm not sure that was the sole reason. What do you mean? There was a rumor at the time that the Reaper was really the ghost of my late brother. Oh, so you're saying that your dead brother has been following you around? That having been slain by that evil killer, Clint's restless spirit returned as some sort of demigod, to wield the deadly blade of justice where I, by dint of the law, could not. Yes, we've heard that story too. I mean, he loved his brother very much. When I lost him, I felt as though I'd lost my guiding light. I didn't know where to go or what to do. You know what I find surprising? This is something to do with the art style of Ace Attorney though. Like, Naruhodo himself, Ryunosuke, doesn't really, like, he has almost the same kind of build that Apollo has in the other games. But if you look at the old sprites, like the pixel art of both the Phoenix Wright and Edgeworth, you can see they have those really broad shoulders. And Van Zieks also has really broad shoulders. He's a very imposing man. And while his brother on this artwork here is also a very imposing man, seeing his face and everything, he looks like a very slim kind of person, which I personally find really funny. We know nothing about this man aside from the fact that he was a prosecutor and he was the oldest son. The eldest? The oldest? And he got along well with his baby brother. But he doesn't have the same kind of imposing air about him. Simply because he's with his small frame in mind. And that's the thing I like about the Ace Attorney games, because they're not everyone has the same kind of build. Like it's in the same sense that I think Strongheart is so suspicious. He's a very imposing man, and we've had several other very imposing men in who had a lot of power in power positions in the other games. Like I said the names before, so technically if any of you didn't know them yet and hadn't played the games, I've already spoiled you on a lot of stuff anyway. But it's because Strongheart is giving me the same vibes. He's this imposing man in power who has this oh, I'm going to change the justice system, I'm going to change the world thinking that we had from two other very specific characters, also in positions of power in the other games. It's because of the way they're drawn and the way they present themselves. Like, even if you don't know about them, about their writing, about their backstories, if you just were to compare their designs, I feel like as someone who has played the other Ace Attorney games, you can kind of see, oh, these feel like they would fulfill the same story. What's the word I'm trying to search for? The way they would push the story forward, I guess. Narrative role. Thank you. Yes. That's what I feel. Which is why I'm not sure where to place Clint, because he plays an important role. He reminds me of the older Gavin brother. And seeing as we know that the older Gavin brother is a very cunning individual, I am not sure Clint is his son. What's the word? Well, I just don't think he's as innocent as everyone makes him out to be. Oh no, he's just this poor soul who died, who was killed by that mass murderer. I don't think that's the entirety here. Anyway, let's just keep going. In some way, I wonder if perhaps those rumors made me feel his absence a little less keenly. Because, see, look, he's so broad. Look at his shoulders. He's this broad a man, and obviously the stuff on his shoulders doesn't really help, but he's a very imposing man. His entire design really makes you feel the air he exudes. Even if I knew it was just an illusion, just some nonsense conjured up by an over-imaginative public. He was obviously extremely important to you. Lord Clint van Zieks. Well, what's important now is uncovering the truth. That's all that matters. I know that you didn't take anyone's life. And I intend to prove that beyond a shadow of a doubt in court today. I never thought I'd say this, but I can see it in your eyes, that burning desire to cut through all the lies and deception. I can't deny it any longer. You are a lawyer of absolute integrity. Oh! Thank you. That's high praise coming from you. Now tell me, why do I detect the scent of expensive tea leaves in the air? I'm sorry. Oh! Iris! When did you get here? Oh! Hi. I brought you one of my special blends. Hurley loves it. He says it helps him to clear his head. Oh. I thank you. Oh, hey. She's so cute. I love her. That's surely the first and last time I'll ever see a sight like this. Well, if she turns out to be his niece or something, they will probably hang out again, no? I'm clinging on to that hope. You seem different today, Iris. Oh. Sort of subdued, I suppose? I'm not. What happened yesterday is obviously still playing on her mind a lot. She's clearly very troubled about having stolen that autopsy report from Dr. Seiff's laboratory. Alright then, good luck to you both. I have to make a move now. Oh, what? You're not staying? I thought you want to watch today's proceedings. Well, I'd like to cheer you on, obviously. But I've got lots to get ready. Get ready? For what? Oh yes, would you take... Oh, it's a little Sherlock bunny. Isn't that one of the little felt dolls that's usually dangling from your knapsack? It's quite actually, I cannot, you know, in visual novels you can kind of get rid of the text box to take screenshots. You cannot do that right now, but if you look really, really close, you can still see the little doll hanging on her sprite. Yes, it's a lucky charm, a little Hurley that I made once. A Hurley? It looks more like a Harley to me. Like, no, a Harley. I'm sorry. There. See, she has she has that one. And then one of herself as well. It's in the same sense that we have a small mouse, I think. It's for Ryunosuke on his one, and also somewhere on Susato-san's there's one as well. They're really cute. Small bean, hello! How are you? Blue Bunny always reminds you of Edna and Harvey. Man, I love Edna and Harvey. If I wasn't so connected to the German version of it, I think I would play them on stream. But they just don't have the same impact in English for me personally. You think you're tough? Are you For some reason you completely run out of options in the trial today. Then just pull this little Hurley's ears as hard as you possibly can. Into a German stream, oh no. I think that would be weird, not gonna lie. What? Pull his ears? That's right, it's a way to bring good luck. I think you might need it. Oh, thanks. I love a newer German stream. Well, everyone who understands German might like it, but it will give you a chance to practice. Aww. Maybe someday. I just feel it would be unfair to everyone who doesn't understand German. Iris's lucky charm. A little doll of Mr. Sholmes in hair form. I've been told to tug its ears if I run out of options in a trial today. We're definitely going to do that. Where is it? Where is it on Susato-san? I think you can see it. If there is a red string on her back, I think that's where her I don't actually know which animal she represents. Hold up. Because I think she's also a bunny, but she has like those floppy ears that go downwards. I know that because I have the animated background as my Steam profile right now. You think what we'll need is luck? I just sneaked a peek inside the courtroom. And it seemed very different to normal. I mean, it's still a closed court, no? Yes, it would seem. That a certain someone has decided to pull out all the stops. Oh no, what does that mean? What does that mean? I feel like pulling the ears on the Hurley bunny might make it explode. Oh no, I don't want an explosion in court. We already had what was her name? One of those street sellers with her firecrackers. We already had a close to explosion. What about Mr. Sholmes, Iris? I don't know. He was out all night and he hadn't come home by the time I left this morning. Oh. Venus the firecracker lady, exactly. Thank you. Oh, I see. Was Professor Mikatoba out all night too, do you think, Mr. Sato? Yes, it would seem so. I telegrammed the hotel this morning. And apparently they didn't come back to their rooms last night at all. They? Father and Judge Shigoku, I mean. Oh! They're probably going to burst into the trial at some point with some kind of news or something. Things I hate about German. Tail and PP use the same word apparently. Oh yeah. Well, I mean, for the second one it's just slang. There's obviously, you know, the normal word for it, but yeah, it's slang. That's right, nobody appears to have seen either of them since yesterday. Counsel for the defense and the defendant. Court is about to be in session. Please make your way inside the courtroom at once. Oh boy, here we go! Good luck then, Runo. Good luck, Susie. Yes, thanks, Iris. And you, Mr. Reaper. I hope it goes well. I hope it goes well! Once again, I thank you for the delicious tea. It was very soothing. Aww! Yeah. I'm so glad. Man, I would like some soothing tea. We must go inside now, Lord Von Zieks. Lord Von Zieks has always been the formidable prosecutor I've had to lock horns with in court. But not today. Today I battle with another in pursuit of the truth. My best friend, boyfriend, Kazuma Sogi, who I trust more than anyone else in the world. Now I understand what it was that drew me here to Britain all those months ago. Now I know exactly what destiny had in store for me. You do? It's all been leading up to this one day, to this one trial, to this one final reckoning. Woo! Hell yeah. I am so ready. 3rd November, 9:30 AM. The Old Bailey courtroom. Oh, we're starting at 9:30 in the morning. I wonder when we'll be out of this. Okay. Wait, where's the judge? It feels even more oppressive here than it did yesterday. There are cold stares piercing me like knives from all sides today. Ah! Mr. Naruto, look! Oh! Lord Strongheart! The fuck? Why are you in a... You're not a judge! Question mark. Kazuma must have known beforehand. The ramifications of this trial now extend far beyond the murder of one Scotland Yard inspector. In fact, events have come to light that threaten to rock the very foundations of our country's legal system. Oh! The escape of a condemned criminal on the night of his execution, the subsequent unlawful shooting of the man, and the revelation that prison staff must have been complicit in the jailbreak. Britain is currently hosting influential members of the judiciary from countries all around the world. It is imperative that we uncover the truth in these proceedings to avoid international embarrassment. By royal decree, this will continue to be a closed trial, and one over which I, Mel Strongheart, exercise total and unequivocal authority. That doesn't sound very... okay. We don't even have a jury. So wait, you're telling me that it's just Strongheart who can go, oh, yeah, guilty or not guilty? That doesn't sound very good. The six jurors' flames just... As was the case in yesterday's proceedings, those here present in the public gallery are distinguished members of our judiciary assembled to bear witness to a fair judicial process. In other words, a collection of your acolytes, Lord Strongheart. Ooh! Acolytes, probably. On a personal note, I find this most distressing, Lord Von Zieks. You are a prosecutor of exceptional talent. He still is. You just decided now to get rid of him. I will keep playing on the assumption that it is Lord Strongheart behind all of this, because at this point there's no one else who could really be the big bad. Other than him. Much like your brother Clint, in fact. Do not... That's not even a gavel! In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. For the trial of Baroque Von Zieks, who officially stands accused of murder. Wow. Counsels for the prosecution and defense, are you in full readiness to proceed? The defense is ready, my lord. As is the prosecution. Yesterday's proceedings brought to light a shocking and disturbing fact. There was a side to the victim, Inspector Tobias Gregson, that was unknown to his superiors at Scotland Yard. Yes, he was carrying out operations in secret, which Scotland Yard knew nothing about. And in those clandestine operations, he had an accomplice. Mr. Daly Vigil, who would be given the inspector's identification and present himself around the capital in order to establish credible alibis for Gregson. In that way, Gregson appeared to be carrying out his regular Scotland Yard work when in fact he wasn't. At the end of yesterday's session, Mr. Vigil, who had been suffering from amnesia, regained his memory. It would appear he buried his memories of the time deep inside himself as a means of self-preservation. Because, whilst he was engaged as chief warder at Barclay Prison, he abetted the convict's escape. Mr. Vigil is currently recuperating at St. Sinners. Not Stinner. He's recovered enough to give a signed statement about his movements on the day prior to the incident. He's formally admitted to posing as Gregson whilst investigating the red-headed leak. Which brings us to the crucial issue of the victim's time of death. The defense yesterday proposed a suggestion that the victim may have been killed one day earlier. This was based largely on the discovery that the victim's pocket watch had not been wounded. The prosecution has something to report on that subject, my lord. Oh, really? Go ahead, Prosecutor Sogi. What do you mean, really? Nothing of what Kazuma is going to say has to surprise Strongheart, because we quite literally saw him yesterday, in-game yesterday, tell Kazuma, you are going to say only what we agreed on and nothing else. So, if, or when, I'm guessing it's a matter of when, only when Kazuma finally snaps out of that and stops adhering to Strongheart's words, only then we will hear anything new from him, probably. I met once again with the coroner yesterday to discuss the issue. She confirmed that the defense's suggestion could not be ruled out. That's true, we talked to her as well. It's entirely possible that Inspector Gregson was killed on the 31st of October, the day before his body was discovered. I have here an updated autopsy report that includes the amended details. Nice. In any other game, I would be very unhappy about an suddenly updated autopsy report, but in this one we're actually happy about it. But the official opinion of the investigation team was made clear yesterday, that the time of death was 5 PM on the 1st of November. There are indications of an attempt to disguise the real time of death, however. It seems that the natural decaying process of the victim's body may have been slowed by keeping it chilled. That's out of the question. There are no refrigeration devices in that part of London large enough to accommodate a human corpse. Well, no one... I still say he was probably bought there in some kind of trunk. We fit in a trunk to steal ourselves on board the SS Buria. Why wouldn't you be able to fit a corpse into a trunk? My lord, this is more than just conjecture. There's evidence to support the idea. We must investigate it thoroughly. Very well. The court will accept the new report as evidence. However, if this updated report is deemed to be accurate, it would give renewed significance to the movements of the victim on the day before the Fresno Street incident. It would, yes, especially since on that day, Inspector Gregson was using Mr. Vigil to cover up his rear movements. It's conceivable that he was killed in the course of his secret activities. Do I sense that the prosecution has some information regarding those activities? Scotland Yard put an enormous effort into investigating that precise matter yesterday. Ooh, okay. Tell me. I think we should begin by presenting the results of that investigation work. So the prosecution calls its first witness now. Ooh, okay. Who's going to be the first witness? Oh, Gina! Hi! State your name and occupation for the court. Inspector Gina Lestrade reporting. Representative of Scotland Yard. self-conferred rank, but never mind. Gina. Again. Gina is always here. Gina is always with us. What's your problem, Otto? What's with that Gina again? Look, eh? Ah. The boss meant the world to me. He's done more for me than anyone else ever did. Oh, Inspector Gregson, you mean? He got me out the back slums of the East End and took me under his wing. Taught me that life can have purpose. So that's why I'm the best person to be standing here speaking for him. Oh, Gina. Right, all out of the goodness of Gregson's heart. Not at all that he had his arm twisted by Mr. Sholmes, no. Psst. Psst. He meant a lot to her. What's relevant to these proceedings is that the outcome of Scotland Yard investigations yesterday has revealed that the victim was carrying out some assignment the police knew nothing about. Ho ho ho! Very troubling. Face. Lord Stronghead knew. Of course he did! You quite literally overheard him telling Kazuma that he's to say this and that. It's okay. So, Inspector Lestrade, let's hear exactly what it says in that report. Coming right up, sir. I love her. She's very cute. Okay. The victim's movements. All yacht detectives are supposed to follow orders and investigate what they're told. But a little search at the boss's office turned up a notebook that had a lot of secret meetings in it. According to that, the boss was looking into some smuggled goods dealings that day. Looks like it was a big job and all, but the coppers weren't onto it yet. What matters most is, there's witnesses what saw the reap at the place too. Oh ho ho. Smuggled goods? I don't know, do I? I'm just telling you what was written in the book. Tobacco, tea, spices, medicines, goods of all sorts flow into London by illegal channels from across the globe. It's well known that they're disposed of at regular black markets that take place in the capital, but the police are rarely able to locate them in time. So Inspector Gregson was investigating one of those black markets. It's been suggested that high-ranking government officials may be involved in black market activity. Aren't they always? No doubt, Gregson was trying to avoid details of his investigations being leaked to the involved parties. That would explain why he was operating on his own authority without the Yard's knowledge. And do we know where the dealings were taking place this time? In a particular room of a certain exclusive London gentleman's club? I'm sorry, is a gentleman's club in this case really a gentleman's club? Is that the one where they like would drink and smoke together, or are we talking like a bordel? Wait, they're not called that in English. You know, a strip club kind of thing. On the day in question, the accused is known to have been there. That's the conclusion of Scotland Yard's investigation into the matter. That can't be. We haven't heard anything about any of this. Members of the club have testified to it. There's no question. The accused, Baroque Van Zieks, was present. I guess it's a real gentleman's club. I guess otherwise they wouldn't be talking about it like this. I don't think they would just drop a, oh yeah, he was in a fucking strip club. That's just not something that sounds like, that would be a very significant testimony then. Oh my, but Lord Van Zieks has made no mention of this at all. In short, Lord Van Zieks had ample opportunity to murder the victim. I see. Very well then, counsel for the defense. Begin your cross-examination. The word you were looking for is brother. Thank you! I was like, Jesus. I'm sorry. I feel like every time I stream, I lose any and all semblance of being able to string words together that have any meaning. Yet I try anyway. Okay, tell me more about these. Do you have any idea where those dealings were taking place? Yep. It was all there in the boss's notes. Let's see if I can remember. As I already said, the illegal dealings were due to take place at a gentleman's club. Yes, I remember, but I was hoping to find out the name of the club. That won't be necessary. What? It's conceivable that the club might be used again by the smugglers in future. Therefore, the prosecution has been asked not to reveal the name in these proceedings. Ahaha! Funny. I don't know what all the fuss is about. It's right here. All I've got to do is read it out. And I could too. I've got this reading game buttoned up now. Can I show you what I can do? Go on. What's the harm? The judge hasn't signaled his objection yet. I could try to find out. What should I do? Let's insist on it. Come on, Gina. Show me that you can read. This is a closed court. The proceedings are confidential. There shouldn't be any possibility of the information being leaked. As I explained, there's some possibility of politicians being involved in this affair. The prosecution is rightfully exercising caution, I imagine. No, my lord. The prosecution has no objection. Ooh! He doesn't like that. Kazuma. There's no question that Inspector Gregson was looking into these black market dealings. However, it's not yet been established that he was on a particular trail on that day in question. If the defense requires to know the club's name, the prosecution has no intention of being obstructive. Hehehe. This will not go according to your stupid fucking plan, my boy. Right then. I get to show off my reading skills. Okay. Apparently the smuggled goods deal was gonna happen at a gentleman's club called the Grouse. Okay. Looks like it was a big job and all, but the coppers weren't in on it yet. Wait, do I have... Okay, wait. Okay, let me... Because I realized we haven't done this. We still have everything we had the first time around, right? So the papers, Gregson's trunk, passport. Is there anything on this thing? No. Huh, we have a full inventory this time. Is there anything new? No. We already looked at all of this as well. Was there anything in the trunk? Was there anything in the trunk? This was the passport, right? There's something inside. Let's see. It appears to, yeah, the passport. Okay. Okay. Now I wasn't quite sure if I had looked at it, but we have everything. Photograph, crime scene, autopsy report, photograph, dismissal notice. Black Birdland. Wait. Have we ever... Hold on. Professor Mikotoba has wonderful handwriting, doesn't he? This dark-suited young man is not in the least bit untrustworthy. Is it just me, or does that make me sound extremely untrustworthy? I do wish he'd at least called you a nice young man. I'm really not sure that would help. It's cute. But we never looked at this before. Hold up. Oh, it looks like this is some sort of steamship ticket. The SS Grouse. Ha! Ha ha! First class cabin 001. Yokohama departure 11 September. London arrival 1st November. Ah, that's the boat that Professor Mikotoba and Chigoku came on from Japan, isn't it? Yes, I think it called at Dunkirk on the north coast of France for a night before finally arriving in Dover. I think it's been almost a year since we arrived in Dover on the SS Borneo. It seems a shame not to keep your ticket as a memento of your trip, don't you think? Yes, I agree. I have mine safely in my diary. And I keep mine in my wallet, so I have it with me at all times. Oh, well, how strange. Where could it have gone? Oh, fuck. Are you like this on purpose, Mr. Naruhodo? Did I imagine it, or was that comment accompanied by a little sigh? Wait. It's written on the back of a ticket for passage on a steamship. Ahaha. Why do they have the same name? Is that a coincidence? The Grouse. Heh, good thing I finally looked at it. Is that a coincidence? I don't think so. I've read about these clubs that exist here in Britain. As I understand it, they're places where well-to-do gentlemen socialize with friends and colleagues. Don't imagine for a second that a foreign student like you would be admitted. You are also a foreign student. Seriously, is your mirror cracked or something? Do we know for sure that the contraband dealings were definitely happening at a club called the Grouse? The police are currently looking for evidence, but haven't found anything definite yet. And I'm sorry to say that they probably won't. Because it's not a club, it's a ship. What do you mean by that? I mean that the place Inspector Gregson was secretly going to visit on the 31st of October may not have been a gentleman's club at all. You're showing a very irreverent attitude towards our country's police force there, Counsel. If it wasn't a gentleman's club, then what was it? A ship! A steamship! You think it's a ship? You have the evidence to prove it here. Let me see that. Of course he reads the wrong side first. Of course, that's just typical. The other side, my lord? Be more specific next time. No. And this would appear to be a ticket for passage upon a steamship, yes. The SS Grouse. So there's a steamship named the Grouse that happens to share a name with the club. But I'm afraid to say, there's a flaw in your logic there. There isn't. Because next I'm going to show you his fucking passport. Watch me. How? Look at the ticket. Notice the date of arrival in port. The ship arrived at the port of Dover on the 1st of November. The day on which a sound like a gunshot was heard on Fresno Street. In other words, on the day in question here, 31st of October, when the victim was on his clandestine mission, that ship hadn't yet docked on British shores. No, but it had docked on French shores. That would certainly make an undercover investigation somewhat challenging. You guys never let me finish! Ship should also have quite a big fridge. Definitely! The fact that the steamship hadn't yet reached Britain substantiates the defense's assertion that the victim was investigating the SS Grouse on the day in question. Then show your evidence for that assertion. Very well. You thought I couldn't, huh? You don't know me well enough. In that case, counsel for the defense, present your evidence to the court now. Evidence that substantiates your claim that the victim was investigating the SS Grouse on the 31st of October. Watch me. Here's his fucking passport. Boom. What's this? A passport for travel issued to the victim. Dated 31st of October. What are you suggesting? I'm suggesting that just one day before the inspector's body was discovered, there's a distinct possibility he wasn't even in the country. Stop that. He's going to break it off at some time. I hope he's going to break off that horn. Order! Order! There's no order in this court. This document is for passage to France. It does appear to have been officially authorized. The day before the SS Grouse arrived at Dover, it docked on the northern coast of France for a night. According to my father, who was on board, at the port of Dunkirk, wherever the fuck that is, Dunkirk, France. What could possibly have taken the victim there? His new job? Ha 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 ha! I'm impressed, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. I certainly didn't expect you to get your hands on that passport. What you mean? It was in his trunk? What? You mean you knew about this? Of course he did. The prosecution strategy for this trial has been laid down by the Crown Prosecution Office. On the day before the incident, the victim was investigating contraband dealings at a London club. that's the outcome of Scotland Yard's investigations and the line the prosecution has been asked to follow. But personally, I don't agree. I think the prosecutor's office is trying to hide something. He says, being the person representing the prosecutor's office right now. What? And now that you've expertly disproven their assertion, I intend to reveal what I believe that something to be. What are you playing at, Prosecutor Sogi? He's not your little lapdog. He's not going to do as you told him. Ha 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 ha. A courtroom is a forum for the truth, my lord. Which is why it's my duty to present all the facts without exception. Let me guess. This was your intention from the outset, wasn't it? Of course it was! The reason Inspector Gregson secretly made his way to the steamship docked in France on the day in question was to carry out a mission for the Reaper. Okay, well, I don't like where this is going. But ha, he's not doing as Strongheart told him, so that's a plus. It's still going against us, so that's not so good, but okay. The Reaper. Wait, who would he try to kill in France? What on earth are you saying, counsel? The prosecution made an assertion in court yesterday. Inspector Gregson was investigating the identity of the Reaper. When he discovered the location of the man's secret hideout, he was killed. As I'm sure everyone can imagine, by the Reaper's hand. Oh, he's still on that. Okay. But in reality, the truth is the opposite of that. Well, Inspector Gregson wasn't investigating the Reaper at all. He was in fact acting for the Reaper. So, you're saying the mission he was undertaking was, obviously, an assassination. I don't really see Gregson as a type to kill. But Rogan Zeeks never carried out any of the actual killings. Whenever the Reaper's victims lost their lives, he always had a cast iron alibi. Which tells us that he must have had an accomplice. And you claim that was Inspector Gregson. What the hell do you think you're saying, eh? My boss would have never done nothing like that. Oh, she didn't get a voice line for that, hold it. And yet, when you consider all the facts, it all makes perfect sense. No, it can't be. We also arrived at the same conclusion, didn't we? That Inspector Gregson was operating as the Reaper. Even so, there's no way that the person giving him his orders was Lord Van Zeeks. No, the true Reaper is somebody else. But Lord Van Zeeks is not the Reaper. A predictable response from someone who's advocating for the man. And even if it's true that Gregson was operating as an agent of the Reaper, the suggestion that he went aboard the SS Grouse on an assassination mission doesn't follow at all. Oh, you have some solid reason for adopting the assertion, do you, Counsel? Absolutely. It's very simple. On the day in question, nobody was killed aboard that steamship. No, but Gregson was killed aboard the steamship. No? Isn't that where he would have to have been killed? Was that an English sentence? But that's where we would have had to be killed, so you could put them in a refrigerator kind of thing, no? Nobody except Gregson, yeah. Professor Mikotoba and Judge Shigoku were on that very ship. If someone had been assassinated, I'm certain we would have heard about it. What's so funny? You're right, of course. No suspicious deaths were reported on board the ship. But I think perhaps you've missed the point. That's precisely why Inspector Gregson himself lost his life. What? Gregson did board the SS Grouse that night with the intention of dispatching his mark. But his mission ended in failure. It seems that the defense hasn't yet grasped a very important detail here. What are you talking about? What detail? Inspector Gina Lestrade. What? The victim's notebook that you read an excerpt from earlier. It doesn't contain details of secret investigations at all. It describes 10 years of assassination plots to be carried out by the Reaper of the Bailey. I keep thinking every single secret notebook we've uncovered from Gregson's office so suddenly. Are they really his? On one hand, it's like there's no way someone could plant a book that covers 10 years and make it in his handwriting. On the other hand, it's so weird that suddenly all of these secret notebooks show up and they're all in his handwriting and seem to be his. You think someone who has a secret assassination notebook somewhere would hide it better, no? It describes 10 years of assassination plots to be carried out by the Reaper of the Bailey. You're lying. Even if all them blood just what you got taken out at it coming. The boss weren't the Reaper. Poor Gina. There's no question that Tobias Gregson was heavily involved in the Reaper's activities. You may just be an apprentice, but if you've spent any time at Scotland Yard, you must have heard rumors. I ain't heard nothing, and I don't believe a word of it. Then testify again, as a representative of Scotland Yard. Consider it your chance to defend your boss. I concur. The witness will give a new formal testimony. Miss Lestrade, you will tell the court everything you know about Inspector Gregson's secret notebook. Oh boy. Okay. The Reaper's notebook. Yeah, this notebook does have a lot of stuff about what the Reaper got up to these past 10 years. Names of victims, dates and places and stuff. And the last entry in there was 31st of October. It said grouse for the place on that date and then the name of the mark. There was a note about him being a criminal who got away from the Reaper in court 10 years ago or somewhat. But honest, the boss didn't do none of it. He was just investigating the Reaper, that's all. Keep personal opinion out of your testimony, witness. We require only established fact here. Shut the fuck up. This must be so hard for her. This is like her 4th time in court as a witness, and every time it just gets worse. You can't deny it now, surely, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. What can't I deny? The notebook contained the name of the final mark and the location where the assassination would take place. That's information that the victim could only have known if he was working with the Reaper. So, who was to be his final mark? Go ahead, Inspector Lestrade. Read the name for the court. The name that's written alongside the entry that mentions the grouse on the 31st of October. Eh? Oh, how do you read this then? Reading's still not her strong suit. I mean, she just started learning it. That ain't the problem, alright, Otto? It's a funny name. It ain't English. It's hard to read. So it's someone from overseas. Wait. Let me have a bash at it. Seishiro Jigoku, the judge. Why? Yeah, Seishiro Jigoku, maybe? What? It can't be. Seishiro Jigoku. But that's Judge Jigoku. Because of the time when he was covering? Well, not covering, but you know, they told us that he was when he was in court testifying to help Genshin Asogi. Would that be enough of a reason to kill him now that he came back to England? I mean, we don't know what he said. Seishiro Jigoku. Certainly not an English name, you're right. But that can't be right. I know just Shigeku, and I saw him the day before yesterday here in London. So know for a fact that the man hasn't been assassinated. As I said, the Reaper failed. Oh. Oh! Gregson missed his chance to kill his mark and return to British shores. But the Reaper wouldn't tolerate the mistake. So he killed the inspector. Personally. Do you even hear yourself? The Reaper, of course, being the accused. Baruch van Zieks. It's an undeniably logical argument. Is it? Is it? You planned for the trial to go this way all along, didn't you? Wait, who just... what? Who said hold it? The fuck? Oh! Oh! Pray forgive the Scots, you're filling my hollow chalice whilst I stand accused of murder! Ah! He fucking put... I don't think you're allowed to do that, my good man. Lord van Zieks. The accused has no right to speak uninvited in court. You will return to the dock. I will not. Fuck you. I say nothing of whether or not I'm the Reaper. That's a task of this court to decide. But there's one thing I can say unequivocally. Nice! That girl is no detective. What? Eh? Nah, that's right, I ain't. I'm an inspector. Repeating rumors heard around the yard, reading entries from a notebook of unconfirmed origin. That's not testimony, it's practically a script. No doubt the rest of this trial will go exactly as you've clearly planned. Yes! Yes! I'll take them apart. Your hatred of me is understandable. In your mind, I'm sure I am the Reaper, who sent your father to the gallows all those years ago. But you're in danger of becoming a far more sinister Reaper yourself. By attempting to have me condemned with this feeble excuse for testimony. What did you say? Senator Hodor, this is our chance. My lord, the defense requests that the defendant be allowed to speak. I mean, he's been speaking the entire time, but sure. He may be privy to important information relating to the testimony just given by the witness. They actually gave him all of the judges' movements. You know, the gavel swinging, the way he looks down. Interesting. Very well. I'll make an exception and grant the request. The defendant may remain in the witness stand for the cross-examination. That's his second... Where the fuck did you even get a new glass from? Then allow me to toast the court's impartiality. Don't raise your glass in my direction, sir. Counsel for the defense, begin the cross-examination immediately. Okay. Let's go. At once, my lord. Let's fucking go. Ho 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 ho. Yeah, but Kazuma is blinded by his rage. We're not getting anywhere. Does not... Okay, wait. Let's press all of it. Tell me. In other words, it shows that Gregson was basically acting as the Reaper. Not you and all. That ain't the only explanation, is it? He could have been investigating the Reaper in secret and had not been said what he found out. If I may. When originally people began referring to me as the Reaper, I didn't object. I believed the power to intimidate London's criminal classes into compliance with the law to be beneficial. But you carried out your own investigations into the true identity of the Reaper, didn't you? Using animation for different models is relatively easy, so why not? Yeah, I mean, sure. I just think it's nice that they really make him act the full judge kind of role. Despite him definitely not... I don't think that's very... legal is the wrong word, but I just doubt it's allowed normally. Like, yes, he is a very high position, but I don't think he can just stand in for a judge. But maybe that's just me. Yes, and those investigations proved conclusively that Gregson was one arm of the Reaper. One arm? What are you on about? The Reaper's victims were all extremely shrewd criminals at the top of their game. There's simply no way one person could have taken them on alone. The Reaper is an organization. With you at its head. I had spies at the yard keeping me abreast of Gregson's movement, letting me know when he was elsewhere. So I'd been able to check the most recent entry in his book. I knew the location. You knew it said grouse? Believing it to be a reference to the Gentleman's Club, I went there on the day in question to investigate. Alone. Ah, so that explains why several members of the club claim to have seen you there. So there is both a club and the steamship. But of course, the inspector was not there. Because at the time, he was making his way to the steamship docked on the northern coast of France. As shown by the passport found in the victim's metal trunk. Wait! Kazuma. Kazuma. I never said anything about having found this passport in his metal trunk. Back to your testimony about the contents of this notebook. Fine. Something wrong, Mr. Naruto? You seemed a little shocked by something a moment ago. Yeah. No, it's alright. I'm overthinking this, aren't I? No, I don't think we are. Why does he know? The large gash couldn't have been made by a sword. A katana? Well, we'll see about that, won't we? Names of victims, dates, places, and stuff. What in particular? Well, beside the victims' names, this other name kept cropping up. What other name was that, Asashin? I wonder if the price of Soe katana still has its tip? Let's go in order, okay? It's the one I told you yesterday, the same name written over and over again. You mean Asashin? Yeah, that's the one. She's a friend of yours or somewhat, isn't she? Shit. Were you even listening yesterday? Assassin? The assassin? What? Like, a killer, you mean? Gregson was the tactician, the one who came up with the plan of attack. He investigated the marks thoroughly, finding out when they would be vulnerable and who to use to gather them. But the person actually executing his plans was someone else, you're saying? If that's true, then the Reaper does indeed start to sound like an organized group of vigilantes. Ah, then perhaps what it said on the passport document. Permission for the applicant and one additional person to travel. Could that additional person have been clearly the assassin who was meant to take Seishiro Jigoku's life? Gina, can you confirm that? Against the final entry that listed Grouse and Seishiro Jigoku, what name was written? Oh, well, that's the only entry that didn't have a name next to it, as it happens. I mean, Asashin is already dead, no? She's been for a while now. I don't know how long exactly, but she's been dead. Since the start of this game. What? It just had like a question mark or somewhere there, I think. In other words, Gregson himself didn't know the identity of the assassin in that case. Oh. But Gregson was the one making the plans, was he not? Nah. How infuriating. A nameless assassin. And you're saying that the mark listed was Seishiro Jigoku? That's what it said. Funny name, if you ask me. And I thought your name was odd. So pleased to have lost my crown there. Mr. Jigoku is the presiding judge of Japan's Supreme Court of Judicature. I remember the man. He came to our country as a visiting student 16 years ago. Oh, wait, no, right. They were there for an entirety of 6 years, and Iris was just born 10 years ago, so he could be the father, but I still don't think it is him. But I just realized I had an error there in my thinking. Studying international law and diplomacy under your tutelage, Lord Strongheart. That bearded young fellow was a very able man, I must say. So Lord Strongheart was Judge Gyuku's mentor. If I'm not mistaken, he returned to Japan 10 years ago now. Wait, how old is Strongheart? Where is he? 53. You're 43. You're not even that... You're only 10 years apart. Oh. Uh-huh. That explains some of the... Okay. 10 years ago, after that fateful case. Precisely. In the aftermath of the Professor case, his repatriation was organized immediately. I don't know what that means. It's a mystery why such a man would be listed in the inspector's notebook. Is it? I didn't think it was possible, but the mood in here has got even worse now. Maybe I just keep talking. Yes, Gina, please, just keep talking. What do you mean, a criminal? Judge Gyuku is no criminal. Well, don't ask me, I don't know nothing about it. Oh, do you remember what Father told us? That Judge Gyuku did once appear in court here in Britain? It was related to the Professor case, I'm sure, that's what I said. Yes, of course, you're right. Says she was trying to mitigate Genshin's guilt, so he took to the stand to testify. But he got a little carried away and actually managed to break the witness stand. How do you do that? He also said some contentious words about the British Empire, for which he was charged. It was a pitiful situation, yes. I'd forgotten all about it, but I prosecuted that trial too, as it happens. You did? It was considered to be an adjunct to the Professor proceedings, you see. But he was acquitted after being told to make reparation for the damage caused to the stand. And there you have it. Have what? Just because he prosecuted the case, you think now he's on a Reaper's list? He didn't even do anything. He did Evan Zeeks, but kicked with more force that the witness stand could not handle. Surely the accused hasn't forgotten his own rule. That there's no saving anyone who faces the Reaper in court, guilty or innocent alike. That's not true. What? No! Also, we have several people who are still alive after facing him in court. Are you suggesting that the reason Judge Gyuku was targeted for assassination? The man was sent back to Japan immediately after that trial. The Reaper had no time to do his work. But then, 10 years later, the Mark returns to Britain once more. Perhaps now you start to see just how vindictive the Reaper is. Come on, that's absurd. To take someone's life for that. Isn't the whole premise of the Reaper absurd, killing those who have been found innocent? Clearly the rules by which the man operates are beyond a sane person's comprehension. But... Oh wait, you wouldn't have said it in Japanese, never mind. Right, I've had just about enough of this. Gina. All this nonsense about the boss planning to kill people, it's cobblers. Come on, Nodo. Yes? Why are you saying nothing? Why aren't you yelling out objection or someone? What do you want me to... You gotta find a flaw, you do usually. Someone's lying here, no question. You've gotta work out who it is. Please, for the boss. That outburst was an insult to the court and to your own testimony. Shut the fuck up! might have known that a common pickpocket from the back slums could make a detective. I will shove that clock up your ass so far it comes back out your mouth. If you say one more bad thing about Gina, don't make me come up there. Also, thank you for the hydro time. When this trial is over, you will forfeit your warrant card, Miss Lestrade. Is that clear? No. I've had it with a lot of yard lives. Every beating place you're looking as well in it. Well, I've had enough. Sudden anger. No, I'm always angry at that dude. And if he goes against a character I like, even more. Gina. So have I. After the little speech of Gina's, I've made up my mind. To do what, Mr. Nadador? To find the truth! There was one point in this cross-examination when something Noah said just didn't sit right with me. One statement that seemed odd. Oh, do you mean... I'm not going to let Gina's plea for help fall on deaf ears. Hell yeah! Gotta find the floor somewhere, okay? I will! I want to thank you, Gina. You helped me find my resolve. Hmm? What do you mean? Amongst everything we heard during this cross-examination, there's one thing that defies explanation. One inconsistency. Wait, I still have... I had the bottle in my hand ever since I said thank you for the hurry time, but I still haven't had a drink yet. An inconsistency. Mm-hmm. Really, Otto? I don't quite know what it means yet, but... Yes, there's an inconsistency in something I was said by Kazuma. Where is he? Fight me. 101 on the witness stand. Let's go. By you, Kazuma Asogi. Me? Is this some attempt at filibustering, counsel? I don't know what that means, so no. Prosecutor Asogi has given no testimony. What are you suggesting I said that was inconsistent? You let something slip that you shouldn't have. When I present a relevant piece of evidence, I imagine you realize what you've done. Very well then, counsel. Go ahead. What evidence reveals this alleged inconsistency in something Prosecutor Asogi has said? The trunk. The metal trunk. The metal trunk. Filibuster means wasting time so nothing can be decided. Ah. This is a trunk that belonged to Inspector Gregson. A metal construction, is it? It's certainly very heavy. What's this? A bloodstain. And a relatively fresh one, too. What? You mean that ain't grease from all the boss's fish and chips? Fresh blood on the inspector's trunk. That suggests that the victim was traveling with that luggage when he was killed. That can't be. There was no mention of any trunk in Scotland Yard's report. Yes, there's a reason for that. Immediately after the inspector's body was discovered, one of the street peddlers made off with the trunk, hoping to sell it. But I found it. Me, with my nose for trouble. Dude sees stuff without us pointing it out? Unbelievable! Which means that nobody should have known anything about the trunk. Unless, of course, we're talking about somebody who was present when the victim was killed. Ooh. And yet, during the cross-examination of the witness just now, you said this, Kazuma. Because at the time he was making his way to the steamship docked on the northern coast of France, as shown by the passport found in the victim's metal trunk. You know, there was a time when I always wondered, like, oh, you said this and that, and then they proceed to say the exact word-by-word thing. And seeing as this is a video game, I never really thought much about it. But obviously, this works in real life, because in a real-life court, you have people sitting there transcribing the entire thing, word by word. So there's no mistake. later on. There's no, oh no, that's not what I meant to say, because it's right there on record. Which I find a very fascinating job. It has to be a very hard job, and it's fascinating. Transcribing court proceedings, I mean. So the question is, how did you know about the inspector's trunk? We know the man went on a trip to France. Where else would he have put his passport? No, that's too easy. But you knew it was a metal trunk. Answer me honestly, Kazuma. On the 31st of October, where exactly were you? Come on, tell me. At the port of Dunkirk, on board the SS Grouse. Is that the answer you're looking for, Ryunosuke? Kazuma, what did you... I hadn't considered the possibility before, but if Kazuma was there on the ship, then it can only have been for one purpose. Told he was evil. No! He's my boy. He's not evil. Oh no, Mr. Naruhodo, surely you don't think... Come on, Ryunosuke. You know the rules. The only thing that really talks in the courtroom is hard evidence. Sure. As I understand it, Inspector Gregson always took the case with him when he traveled. So as it stands, you've proved nothing. Kazuma. Are you challenging me to prove it beyond all reasonable doubt? That you were there that day, in the same place as the inspector? He was there, with Gregson. There's a clue that you've overlooked, a secret that Trunk can tell us. I can't be sure at this point, I'll need to verify it. But I have a nasty feeling that I'm going to be right. The accusation being made is deeply disturbing, but nevertheless, we must test it. The defense will identify for the court where in the trunk this alleged clue is to be found. Sure. Where's the evidence that ties Prosecutor Sogi to Inspector Gregson? Open it. Let's have a look inside. Now, how am I going to make it so I... Nope. No. This thing. No, not the gash. I need to be able to click on this thing. Ah. This looks good. Do you see that? There's something stuck. Okay. Okay, it's okay. If I don't move my mouse and present this exact place, I think we're good. Music stop, we're good. There's a small piece of metal lodged in the wall of the trunk here, like the tip of a blade. Eh, a blade? Kazuma, slung around your waist as ever today. Is the esteemed blade, Kanuma? Of course it is. Won't you draw it, here in this courtroom, for all to see? Exercise caution, my learned friend. That man is the son of London's most notorious killer. By leave, watch Prosecutor Asogi like a hawk. That won't be necessary. Oh no. The tip is broken. Oh no! Our table! It's broken! If the fragment of metal from the trunk fits together with the end of the sword, the question of who was there with Inspector Gregson will be answered. Agreed, Kazuma Asogi. Expertly done, Ryunosuke. That's a point to you, and well deserved. Do you mean to tell the court, Prosecutor Asogi? Yes. On the 31st of October, I accompanied Inspector Gregson to Dunkirk in order to carry out a mission. So the additional person authorized to travel was me. And the mission was The assassination of the mark. What? Huh? That's too easy. That's not true. That can't be true. That's easy. You mean you're the killer whose name was omitted from this notebook? You were following the Reaper's orders to dispatch Judge Shigoku. Let me make one thing perfectly clear. I have killed no one. Explain. I accepted the assassination mission, yes, and I accompanied Gregson to Dunkirk, but I never had any intention of carrying out the plan. You were never going to do it. I can't believe Kazuma-sama, I'm sure. After all, Judge Shigoku arrived safely in London the following day. On the 31st, I boarded a train from London with Inspector Gregson. We travelled to Dover, from where we crossed the channel to Dunkirk. Then we boarded the SS Grouse and made for the cabin deck, as indicated in the plan. You went to Judge Shigoku's cabin? Exactly. He wasn't there though. We decided to wait, but you've already told us you had no intention of going through with it anyway. I didn't come to Great Britain to take anyone's life, so I left Gregson and disembarked the ship. I spent the night at a boarding house in the town and returned to England the following morning. A boarding house in Dunkirk. My signature will be in the register book. It would be simple enough to verify. Then, what became of Shigoku? Gregson was no assassin, so the mark was spared. I'm sure it's easy enough to imagine what happened after that. So you still sat on it being Baroque who killed him. Gregson returned to England as well, having failed to complete the mission. He met with the Reaper in a room on Fresno Street to report the failure. Why would your sword be in his trunk then? You're very conveniently omitting that from your story, causing the infuriated mastermind to pull the trigger. And end his wretched agent's life. That doesn't add up. That's the real truth behind Inspector Gregson's murder. You are still accused of murder. I don't think you can just simply object to stuff, but I'm not going to stop you. But if you did nothing as you claim, how did the tip of your sword come to be lodged in the inspector's trunk? Thank you! I don't need to answer that. He's right. The victim was killed by a gunshot. A small fragment of a Japanese blade isn't relevant to the case. That's not true! Well, technically it is, but I'm going to change that. Hopefully. And accordingly, I choose to exercise my right to silence on that matter. Be that as it may, the court will sequester the sword as evidence.
Yes. Give it to me.
As you wish, my lord. The great sword Karma, the illustrious blade passed down through generations of the Asogi clan, the prized sword's tip has a small piece missing. We must take immediate action now. Wait, can I look at it? Hold on. It's a new piece of evidence. I want to look at it first. Ooh. Fancy. Anything special I can look at? His hatband. Kanema, the great blade. It's such a thing of beauty. I want to gaze on it for hours. Ooh. It's too bad about the tip being broken off, huh? The tip of the great sword broken. It's such a shame. It's been so meticulously cared for over the years. I can almost hear Karuma's sobs. Kazuma must have really taken a swing for that to happen. I see. Anything else? No? That's it? Oh, oops. Yeah. My cursor doesn't really want to work sometimes. Okay. Nothing else. Okay. To verify whether Seishiro Jigoku remains unharmed. What? Remains unharmed? I agree. That should be our first priority. Wait, no one knows where he is, though. Like, aside from Sherlock and... I forget his name, but Susaru's dad. It's recently come to my attention that he hasn't been seen since yesterday. How do you... When a foreign dignitary invited to Great Britain goes missing for 24 hours, it's only natural that the question of his safety should arise. You don't mean to say that you think Judge Shigeku may have been killed? The Reaper has more than one assassin at his disposal, and he has the power and influence to give orders from the inside of a prison cell. Isn't that right, Lord Van Zieks? Oh, another glass! If I were truly the Reaper, I'd be able to tell you. Jesus Christ. Order! We will take an emergency recess for 30 minutes. Now. Guests of the symposium have been told to maintain regular contact with the organizer's office. If the man can't be located within half an hour, we will have to assume the worst. Oh no. Not Judge Shigeku, who I don't trust, by the way, but like... No one would want to kill a harmless Japanese man who'd only just arrived in the country. Is he, though? Except, that is, for the Reaper wanting to finish off a mark that slipped through the net 10 years ago. I don't think Kazuma's necessarily wrong about the Reaper wanting Jikoku dead. But the Reaper is not Kazuma. No, Van Zieks, sorry. Kazuma. I think whatever Sholmes is doing with those two men, I think wherever he's taking them, I think they're more safe there where we don't know where they are than anything else. But maybe that's just me. I would have to agree. Mr. Naruhodo, for the defense's sake, Lord, I sincerely hope we are successful. If we are unable to confirm Mr. Jikoku's healthy existence in the next 30 minutes, you will face grave difficulties. Wait, why? I want Stronger to just pull out another thing when he breaks the horn like it's nothing. That would be fun. Cottage adjourned for 30 minutes. Oh, we're all alone now. Kazuma-sama, the Reaper's assassin. I feel as though I'm in a nightmare. I can hardly believe it either, but on the other hand, Kazuma isn't in the habit of making up stories. I have such a terrible sense of foreboding. If something awful has happened to Judge Shigeku, then I feel as though things will only spiral further and further out of control. I felt it from the moment I stepped into the courthouse this morning, that strange sensation that we were careering towards a foregone conclusion. Well, in the worst case, we might only have 30 minutes left. Unfortunately, though, I don't think there's anything we can do but wait now. We're out of options. Are we? Actually, there may be one last hand we can play. Or rather, one last ear. Of course! Pull! Pull! The little Mr. Sholmes doll that Iris gave us. Or the horn gets stuck, maybe. It would be funny. If for some reason you completely run out of options in a trial today, then just pull this little Hurley's ears as hard as you possibly can. Fuck yeah, I will. Perhaps now is the time. What should I do? Pull Hurley's ears or not? Pull! 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 Oh, but don't accidentally break them off if you pull too hard. Here goes then, I'm going to do it. Good luck, Mr. Naruhodo. Not looking back. Heave! Ow! That scream sounded like Mr. Sholmes. Mr. Sholmes, where are you? Here, my dear fellow, here. What do you mean here? It's a fat doll talking. Pull these again, Mr. Naruhodo, as hard as you can. Alright then, I'll put all my strength into it. Heave! Ow! Please, my dear fellows, you don't need to pull my ear off. Mr. Sholmes, where are you? On a ship? He's on a ship? Myself and my trusty partner are presently in the first-class cabin area of the SS Grouse. The SS Grouse? She left over last night after the final pieces of cargo were loaded. It's on his ear! We're currently docked at Dunkirk, but due to be underway again in half an hour. You've taken a ship to France? Please, even with my athletic prowess, I would struggle to jump the Straits of Dover. After we left Baker Street last night, we hurried by cab to the station and by train to the port, in order to board this vessel in time. So, you mean you'd already worked it out? That the steamship was where everything really took place? Mr. Nanodo, pray, what is my name? Herlock Sholmes, world famous great detective. Recited to perfection, well done. You're a genius, Mr. Sholmes, that is the only word for it. That doll looks like an Animal Crossing village. Oh. Miss Susato, gently with this genius's ear, please. Oh my, I'm ever so sorry. If I may, Sholmes. What's happening? Ah, there you are, Mikotowa. You may remember that it was in fact I who made the connection to the SS Grouse. at Scotland Yard yesterday when we examined that notebook and I recalled my steamship ticket. Haha, of course it was, my dear fellow. And not once did I controvert that fact. I merely had our court-bound companions under my knee. Yes, you did, didn't you? How is the connection holding up, though? They're using felt doors. Okay, you know what? Just do your thing. We just entered a recess. The trial resumes in 30 minutes from now. And if we're unable to present any new leads then, I'm afraid to say... Do not fret, please. It's for precisely that purpose that my partner and I have made this journey. I've no doubt we shall have welcome news for you within the half hour. Thank you, Mr. Sholmes. That would be wonderful. Until later, then. Yes, you'll be hearing from us if you're not in touch first. Ow! I shan't be hearing anything if you keep tugging my ear in that mindless fashion. Whatever was the idea behind making a receiver operated in that way in the first place, Sholmes? Why the deuce would I know? It's Iris's invention, not mine. I think it's a very great invention and he deserves to get pulled on the ears sometime. Whilst I know how much you enjoy being the hero of the hour, Sholmes, we have but half that now before the grouse puts to sea again. If you don't conclude our investigations rapidly, we shall find ourselves in Naples before long. There are times, Mikotoba, when you make a surprising amount of sense. So, let us begin. Oh. First class cabin number 2. Yes, this is the one. But I don't believe an investigation of the cabin is going to be plain sailing. Hi. That crewman standing in front of the door is an angry looking fellow. Wait, so I get to investigate while I'm in court? While you are loitering here, who are you? My dear fellow, do you not recognize a world famous great detective when you see one? The question really ought to be, who are you? Do you not recognize well-traveling great sailor Chikin Stroganov when you see? Great detective, huh? I don't think so. Why do you have Sholmes on your arm? Or what else could it say? Solois? If you turn it around, it could say Solois. Do you see that, Mikotoba? It would appear that this man is a devoted follower of mine. He certainly is not. Goodness me, is that a tattoo that says Sholmes? I must say, while such adoration is flattering, naturally, it does leave me a little cold. What are you talking about? Leave, now! How distressing. My loyal devotee knows me only by name and not by appearance. And yet, I already know a great deal about you, sir. You have a brother, I believe. Like yourself, he's a shipman. Currently currently traveling the world aboard a Russian steamship, in fact. How could you know this? Elementary, my dear Mikotoba. I'm sure it was. 3 days ago, I was bound for London aboard the ship, you see. We're looking for one of my fellow passengers, a man by the name of Jigoku. There's no one with this name on board. But we know that he purchased a ticket for passage. Ah, you mean Eastern Man. He left ship 2 hours ago. Here, Dunkirk. He said something about emergency, I think. What? Are you sure? So Seishio's realized that we're after him, has he? His cabin is the one behind you. We should like to investigate, please. No, I have orders not to let even mouse inside. That's unfortunate. Mikotoba, be a good man and draw the sailor's attention away, would you? Make up some excuse so that he leaves the area. Hello! Brrr. Brrr. Hmm? Yes, you're very cute. Doesn't great detectives see that even sailors have ears, both left and right? Curses! The plan is ruined. And you have only yourself to blame, I'm afraid, Sholmes. Forget it. Cabin door is locked. Even if I'm not here, you cannot get inside. Mikotoba, I'm sure you haven't forgot my special talent, have you? Opening any lock? Within a mere 5 seconds. So if you'd be so kind as to afford me the requisite time, old friend, in your typically accommodating manner. How could I refuse such a typically unappealing request, old friend? So I need to distract that burly sailor for 5 seconds, do I? Good man! So, the game is afoot. Okay. Let's see. The ship looks exactly like the SS Boria, except that the doors are green. He's like a Neo-Temple Guardian statue, this fellow, the way he's glaring at us so fiercely. Tell me, why are you standing guard here if the cabin is unoccupied? Because this area is only for first-class passengers. We must look out for suspicious criminals. He was looking straight at me when he said that. My dear fellow, as you can plainly see, we are quite unsuspicious as criminals go. But still criminals. No, for goodness sake, Sholmes, tell the man, we're neither suspicious nor criminals. Ah, yes, quite right, Mikotoba. Curses, the seaman is far too able for his own good. Be extremely careful on what you say. One of us ought to be, yes. It's very refreshing that Mikotoba is already fed up with him. That's another first-class cabin, and yet its door is completely unguarded. Empty as well. I had a quick look inside earlier, though I confess I didn't investigate the wardrobe. There may very well be a young Japanese fellow inside, perspiring merrily. If you're referring to Naruhodo, you know very well that he's currently perspiring merrily in court. Does it not strike you, though, Mikotoba? Why the man stands guard only in front of this cabin when both are apparently vacant? Yeah, we're going to change that. This would appear to be an alarm bell. All hell would break loose if that thing were to ring. The whole crew would know about it. Gee! That sounds quite unfortunate! Here goes then. Pardon me in advance. You, what are you doing? If we were at sea, that would be a very bad problem. What's going on down there? Seaman Stroganoff, report at once. Sorry, sir, nothing to report. It was just a stupid trick. No, not by me, by world famous. No, as I told you. Now, Sholmes, now. Done. Oh, he actually managed. Not even 5 seconds, eh? Well, don't stand there gawping at my brilliance, Mikotoba. In we go. Oh, yes. Let's go. Yee! 3rd November, SS Grouse, first class cabin number 2. What the fuck happened here? Good gracious. It would appear that the occupant of this cabin did indeed disembark rather hurriedly. Those clothes on the floor there, they're satiatos without question. Well, it seems we're just a little too late. Yes, by about 2 hours. Still, whilst we're here, we should investigate thoroughly. There may well be 2 hours worth of clues to find in here. But a burly crewman may return at any moment, Sholmes. Indeed he may, which makes this all the more thrilling. Oh fuck, okay. What the hell is going on up here? There's a speaking tube here, look, though it's been stupid with some cloth. So the voices of the crewmen on the bridge aren't an annoyance, I suppose. Or indeed, so that the voices in his cabin aren't heard elsewhere. Could go both ways. Could something have happened in here that was for no one else's ears, do you think? Either that, or it could be to prevent snakes from entering. That's really become a favorite case of yours, hasn't it? Okay, what about this? Quite the exquisite glass, I must say. See here? How it... Is something wrong, Sholmes? You suddenly trail off? Ice, Mikotoba, ice. What opulence of first-class passengers enjoy chilled drinks. Pardon? Could it be that the steamship is equipped with an electrically refrigerated cold room, do you think? Well, it is a luxury liner after all. They have enormous refrigerators for storing all sorts of lavish produce as well as ice. And the occasional dead body to stop it from decaying. On our voyage from Japan, we enjoyed culinary delights from all over the world. Suddenly, Mikotoba, the sight of you is making my mouth water. I'm sorry. I haven't taken on the flavor of the food I ate, you know. Wouldn't the ice have been melted in 2 hours standing around there? Depends on how much ice it is. I think. I'm not quite sure. I don't really drink stuff with ice in it. I don't like that. Nice cool drink with a bit of dead body flavor. Tasty. According to the report I was given, Naruhodo was concealing himself in Asogi's wardrobe. Indeed he was, and it was of a similar size to this one. Ah, you must climb inside yourself, my dear fellow. What? Whatever for? It was the site of my first faithful meeting with Mr. Naruhodo. You can experience the moment for yourself now, complete with my dramatic rhetoric. Come along now, in you go. This will only take a moment. Really, Sholmes? Surely you can just tell me what you said. Well, I uttered some brilliant remark and opened the wardrobe to reveal the stowaway murderer. I think I'll just read about it in the Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. Sorry. Okay, what about the trash can? This is the waste paper basket, look, and there's still rubbish inside. Ah yes, of course, I'm sorry, I forget that we're in a British game. Hello? Goodbye? Indeed, then let us pry. I've discovered recently I have a penchant for exploring the contents of others' waste paper baskets. Like, who the fuck says waste paper basket? Just say trash can. I sincerely hope only for your work. Ah, kitty, yeah. 2 different kitties. Actually, in the past few minutes, but neither of them stayed. Have we ever noticed issued to passengers from 3 days ago? 3 days ago, the night before we arrived in London then, when I was still aboard myself. Evacuation drill notice 31st of October, following departure from the port of Dunkirk. All crew members up. I can't read that fast! I can read fast, but not that fast. But yes, there was an evacuation drill, I remember now. For our safety and security, all first-class passengers were constantly under the watchful eye of the crew, so it was a welcome relief to have some privacy for once. A notice about a practice evacuation to be carried out by the crew of the SS Grouse the night before the ship arrived in Dover. It was found in Judge Shigaku's cabin. Let me read that. Let me read that. I cannot. Aha! Wow, I can't. That sucks. Okay, I don't get to do that as Mikotoba, okay. That's a very sizable trunk indeed. Seishiro is partial to all things large, and a rather clumsy fellow if you fail to notice he left that behind. Perhaps he left it on purpose. It's lighter than you might think, but still a hindrance to a speedy escape. Also, it's locked. Pity. It's locked, so we can't look inside. Surely 5 seconds from now the situation will be quite different, though? Sadly not. It has a 7-digit combination lock. And I'm not in a morose enough mood to walk through all the combinations at present. Okay. Where's my cursor? There it is. What about this thing? These are the rules of passage. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabins. Pets are also strictly forbidden. Additionally, there are severe punishments for stowing away in wardrobes and or travel cases. You again! Hello! You could also just stay. You know, you don't have to go in and out repeatedly. Meow! Another one! What is this? Meow. Oh, no. Hey. Not destroying my room while I stream, please.
I destroy your room whenever I want. Ha 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 ha.
Okay. One of them has settled down on the bed, and the other is a little unsure of where to go, it seems. No, apparently he plans on destroying... New character unlocked, Kitty. Yeah. Apparently he plans on destroying my carpet. Do you know who the real murderer is? No. You don't? Okay. I feel the rules have increased since I last read them. Probably just my imagination. What about the fact that they're not straight on the wall? Doesn't that strike you? You may be right. Probably just your imagination though. A trifle. And you know what I always say, Mikotoba? There's nothing important about trifles. It's probably just my imagination, but I think that might be slightly off. Plenty of reading material to keep passengers occupied on the long sea voyages. I found a mixture of classic literature and easy reading to be most satisfactory, I must say. Whoever stocked this bookcase was a hopeless heretic. There's no copy of the Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, my dear fellows. I'm afraid it's just me, but no, you're quite right. More blasphemous than overlooking the Bible. I shall leave a copy behind, I just happen to have one with me. You're a true missionary of the Church of Great Detectives, aren't you? Okay, what the fuck was here? The wall is a slightly different color just here, do you see? Indeed, one you have observed arises when a frame has been hanging for some time is removed. Perhaps your friend is an art thief. Now there's a bold deduction worthy of a great detective, I'm sure. He may very well be the elusive thief who has been plaguing France's galleries of late. Ha ha ha! I'm sure he's not. I think perhaps we should focus our attentions elsewhere, Sholmes, don't you? That outline on the wall. I feel as though I might have spotted something of a similar shape and size elsewhere. Oh, hi! You're still here! Ah, able seaman Stroganoff, hello again. I was beginning to think you'd never materialize. You're waiting for me? Of course, I was expecting you to burst in with a hearty rush of profanity far sooner. I was in trouble with Captain because of trick you played before. Poor innocent chicken. If that's how you say his name, I'm so sorry. It is all your fault. Ship is leaving port soon, get off, now. Of course, we shall disembark presently, my dear fellow. But first, there's something that must be done. What are you talking about? Why, naturally, the debunking of your deceit and the bearing of the truth. Kakoi? I don't speak French and I don't speak Russian, please. I'm afraid I see through your lies. For one thing, Mr. Jigoku has not yet left this vessel at all. Ah. And for another, my dear seaman Stroganoff. You know exactly where the man is, even as we speak, don't you? Don't worry, many people don't. How can you? Good gracious, Sholmes, you mean you've worked it out? All of it? Thank you for the hydrate time. It's really been too long, hasn't it, old friend? 10 years, no less. Russian and French are difficult. Russian for the entire fact that you first have to learn yet another writing style. Not writing style, you know. Way of writing. French just for the fact that you don't even pronounce it anywhere close to how you write it, and I have trouble with languages where you don't pronounce them the way you write them. So would you care to join me for a dance of my inimitable logic and reasoning? Nothing would please me more. What is this? Hi! We have but minutes until the vessel puts to sea. No games now. Oh! Time is of the essence. I should change Shom's outfit to his usual outfit and not this one. Mr. Stroganoff, allow me to remind you of your earlier claim. You told us that Jigoku left the ship some 2 hours ago. That is what I said. Sadly, that was a rather clumsy lie. You see, there's something in this room that quite clearly contradicts it. What? Ah, yes, of course. I see you noted it too, Mikoto, but then please do take the lead. Oh, do I get to do it immediately? What in this cabin shows the impossibility of Jigoku having disembarked 2 hours ago? Let's see what the last 3 years have done to your observational skills then, Mikotoba. It's been 10 years since we last did the Shom's, not 3. Why, of course it has. Quite. Now, all the clues are here in this cabin for your eyes to see. But as I always say, you must not merely look, but observe. Observe and the answers become clear. The eyes, yeah, the eyes. So, impress me. I think I can manage that. Oh, nice. I just get to do it immediately myself. Nice. Ooh, that's cool. Oh, why are we tapping? Perhaps you should have cleared away that glass. How curious that the ice shouldn't have melted despite it being abandoned 2 hours ago. Ah. It would appear that the man was here in this very cabin until moments before our arrival. With this well-chilled glass in hand. Get your mind off the refreshment shops. One might even conclude that somebody informed him of our boarding. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Stroganoff? But why would Shiro run from us? Before we consider that question, allow me to confirm one small matter. Would I be correct in saying that these first-class cabins on the SS Grouse are the same ones in which you and Mr. Jigoku were accommodated on your voyage from Japan? Tapping before saying something interesting makes it more interesting. That's very true. It's a very impressive skill to have as well. That's right, they are. I was in a cabin next door and Shiro was, yes, 50 days in this very cabin during our voyage. As I suspected, for you see, there are traces in this cabin of a dark secret that Mr. Jigoku had to hide. What traces? I know nothing about this. Nah, this is news to you, is it, Mr. Stroganoff? Sholmes, what exactly are you getting at? As I said, there are traces in this cabin of some nefarious activity. Something that appears out of place, which I'm quite sure won't have escaped your notice. Something out of place in here. That's the key to this, Mikotoba. The remnants of the dark deed that took place in here are being masked by something quite incongruous. Whatever! I must say I didn't foresee ever doing this dance of deduction with you again, Mikotoba. No, quite, but life is full of unexpected twists and turns, as we all well know. Now then, let's see if I can't uncover the truth here. Yes, you have the floor, my dear fellow. The remnants of the dark deed that took place in here being masked by something what's rather awkwardly hiding the traces of a crime. The rules of passage? Because I think they might have been on the other side, you know. Where the wall is a different color. Tap, 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 tap. It's the rules of passage in its frame here. They're obviously out of place. The way they're hanging crooked on the wall as if they were put there in a hurry. Yes, as I'm sure you've already concluded. That frame was originally over here. The shape and size are a perfect match. Da, you're right. When did frame move? Also, it wouldn't make sense to put the rules of passage in the middle of a room. Well, I mean, they obviously could do that, but we saw it on the board as well. They were right next to the door, which is where you would immediately see them. At any and all times, whenever you left the room. Hardly the most observant of crewmen, are you, Mr. Stroganoff? I would think your captain is quite justified in having his reservations about your reliability. Oh dear, that really seemed to touch a nerve. So, Mikotoba, why don't you lift that frame off the wall? Ooh! That looks like a bullet hole. What? Who has been shooting walls? I see, the projectile has been removed. Clearly the careful occupant of this room has already disposed of it. Now then, Mr. Stroganoff. I have the distinct impression that you're attempting to shield said occupant. I don't know what you're talking about. Why would I try to protect Eastern Stranger? So we're talking about the same man, I see. Good. I'm sure we can get to the bottom of this in no time, aren't you? Because there's some very noteworthy evidence that explains the reason why you're lying for the man. Yes, you've been told to keep up this pretense as clearly shown by... I really don't know how to approach this one, Sholmes. My dear Mikotoba, simply keep first principles in mind. Study your subject from every angle. I'm not quite sure that you see it. In fact, I put a wager on it. Money? So I'm too glad to follow from all sides. Well, I can certainly do that. Do you have money on you? Money, 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 yeah, money, 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 money,
Money, money, money, money, money.
no, ho, ho, ho. This is nice. I like this one where we immediately work together a little more than the one where we had to listen to Holmes rant on and on and on and then just do it all over again. It's almost too obvious for words. Quite. The universal language of the world. Money. Do you have money on you? Yes? Great. It's mine now. And I'd wager that the Eastern fellow in question is Seishiro Jigoku, yes? So, I presume you realize what this means. There are clear signs that a crime has been committed in this cabin, and the way you're going, sir, you'll find yourself accused of being an accomplice. But... I believe you know, Mr. Stroganoff. You know where Mr. Jigoku is hiding at this precise moment in time. You're telling me that massive man is in that trunk? As always, Mikotoba, in matters of deduction, the furtive glance is your unfaltering ally. Yes, I think you're onto something there, Sholmes. You found a chink in this burly fellow's armor. We need only follow the man's gaze to know where our prey is hiding. The slightest flicker of the pupils, a minutely delayed blink, nothing escapes my attention, even that which is barely perceptible. You could hardly call this barely perceptible, Sholmes. The man's turned his entire head. It's not exactly what you describe as a furtive glance, is it? It's almost too obvious. We shall let your tapping toes decide, my dear fellow. Okay. Yeah, well... I mean, come on. You're looking at it. You're quite literally looking at it. You turned immediately to look at this large trunk, didn't you? Ah, the truth is, Seishiro Jigoku was unable to escape from the ship in time, and is, at this very moment, doing his best to stifle his breath inside this trunk. If he still has a breath to take, I fear he may be running dangerously low on air. I imagine he didn't count on us making a nuisance of ourselves for quite so long. I think it would be in everyone's best interest for us to open the trunk as quickly as possible. But how can we? Are you forgetting about the combination lock? We don't know the 7-digit code. The combination lock can't be opened from inside the trunk. And therefore, there must have been an arrangement for somebody to open it after our departure. Of course. In short, before Jigoku hid himself inside that trunk, he must have told somebody the 7-digit number for the lock. Oh, so its number's on his arm. As I'm sure you can confirm, Mr. Stroganoff. No, I know nothing about combination code. Are you sure? Wait, which way do I have to read them, though? If I turn it around, it's 5, 2, 3, 1, 0, 4, 5. Is that it? So it's not a name at all. Wait, let me write that down. So what's 5, 2, 3, 1, 0, 4, 5. Ha! They made it look like Sholmes. That's funny. Don't move a muscle, my good seaman. Huh? Now, Mikotoba, would you do the honors and open the trunk? How on earth do you expect me? It's a 7-digit number, remember? Quickly now, we have little time. Ow! What was the puzzle for this in the original Japanese, then? Because it wouldn't have been Sholmes. His name is Holmes in the original, right? 5. Oh, wrong way. 2. 3. 1. 0. 4. 5. Is that... Click. That did it. It's open. You had to meddle, didn't you? How the fuck did he fit inside that trunk? Well, Jujin, you found me now. Seishiro. Like, look at this massive man. I was really hoping beyond hope not to find you here, you know? If it fits, I sits. How long has he been in there? Well, ever since we boarded the ship until now. What good exercise can do? But you're not entirely unsurprised, I take it. No, quite. I just wish it was some other way. Well, are you ever going to introduce me? Ah, your reputation precedes you, Mr. Sholmes. I've read stories of many of your exploits. It must have been uncomfortable, definitely. Excuse my manners, Sholmes. This is Mr. Jigoku, my old friend and traveling companion. The devil's in the details, Mikotoba. I believe you meant to say your old friend and traveling companion. Who made the cowardly decision to flee the country without a word to anyone when things turned sour? I see my reputation precedes me as well. What an honor. Well, say Shiro, are you going to explain all this? You know it all by now, I imagine? What you didn't know, of course, is that 3 days ago, on the night before our arrival in Britain, an attempt was made on my life here on this very ship. By the Reaper of the Bailey. Yes, I've since heard. Because you were once prosecuted by the Reaper, weren't you? 10 years ago now, mind you. And I had no idea at the time what a dangerous individual he was. Anyway, when we arrived in London to find the symposium was postponed until goodness knows when, it became all too apparent to me that I might very well be targeted again. So you decided to flee the capital without saying a word to me about it? I'm afraid so, yes. Of course, I realize now that I really ought to have confided in you. It's somewhat surprising, I must say. What is? Well, first-class cabins aboard luxury steamships are in very short supply. It's more than a little hard to believe that this one just happened to be available. So says the protagonist of some colorful short stories. Well, I don't care for your opinion. The cabin did just happen to be available, so I purchased a ticket, and here I am. I've just seen for myself the obvious remnants of that incident in this cabin, so you'd already purchased your return ticket before we even docked in Dover, had you? To prevent anyone else taking this cabin and seeing the evidence, is that it? Eugene, I have nothing to say to you. Well, in a mere 5 minutes the ship will set off in its onward voyage and not make port again until Italy. I'm afraid we must insist that you disembark with us at once. You have no jurisdiction over my movements. I can knock you out and put your body in that trunk again and take you off this ship. Technically. If this says Shiro, take it. Ooh, that's a very grave look. What is it? It's a subpoena from the Old Bailey. You're a man of the law. You know what the ramifications of ignoring a document like this from the British courts would be. Ooh! You came prepared then, Eugene. Come on, let's go. One moment. What is it, Sholmes? Inside Mr. Jigoku's trunk. I found this rather fascinating trinket. What is that? Say, Shiro. I can't help you, I'm afraid. Some small component from something. But what? I have no idea. By the look on his face, I think he generally doesn't know. Got him! At his pocket is a small souvenir for a brief sojourn in France. A small machine part that Mr. Sholmes found in Judge Jigoku's cabin on the Essel's grouse. Listen, I like your way of very subtly telling me what parts it might be from and subtly hinting at stuff, but it's a little too much. I'm sorry. It's a little too much. I am playing this game blind. I would like it to remain that way. Because it's it's just a tad too obvious. If you make it a little less obvious, then it's okay. Well, young Nadaho, though, I think we've done as much as we can, I'm afraid. You haven't played any of those games, though. Oh, then you're very good at doing what you do. I think she was just too good at guessing. Oh, I really thought you had played this game. I'm sorry, then. I really thought you had played this game and you were, you know, giving me hints. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Then, I'm sorry. Keep your very good guessing to yourself because you're too good at it. The rest will be on the shoulders of you and your assistant. I'm so sorry. I thought you had played the game. That's why you were saying it. You're good. My grandfather had one with a similar knob. Oh. No, because we really have a pocket watch here. That is very important to the case. Damn. You should play these games then. Definitely. 3rd November, 12:10 p.m. The Old Bailey Courtroom. Remember from last time. Ah. Well, I'm sorry for saying that then. I genuinely thought you had played the game and you were trying to help me along. Kazuma Sogi, I know you and I know you wouldn't lie. But still, there's no doubt that you're holding something back. You know more than you're saying. During the past 30 minutes, while this court was adjourned, all possible efforts were expended. But sadly, Mr. Jigoku's whereabouts could not be ascertained. Oh, no, wait. It's okay, we're going to make it. We must accept the unfortunate conclusion that the Reaper's already done the deed. He hasn't. There's no sense in wasting any more of the court's time. The prosecution calls for an immediate verdict. Are you fucking kidding me? No, the trial cannot end now. You're a Japanese man, Ryunosuke. You should know when to lay down your sword. Oh, really? Oh my god, I forgot that one of the cats is still here. He's on the bed right now, right behind me. And I put something down and I almost hit him with it. I'm so sorry, baby. Might have sounded like she was backseating and confirm he would never do that. He's just too good. Okay. Well, I'm sorry for thinking that. But it's a good thing we now know. So sorry. And you should never to presume when the battle is won. Ooh. The court has already been presented with all the evidence and heard all relevant testimony. And there can only be one conclusion. That the accused is guilty. A bit too into this, wanting to know how it ends. Oh, yeah. No, I can't. I understand that, though. Too bad, though. We're not going to find the end of this that soon, anyway. We're not going to find the truth tonight, I can tell you that much. I don't even know how far we will get. Because this is only our first recess. And we're only now starting on the second part of the trial. And imagine there's going to be, I don't know, at least 2 more. Hello TK, good evening. Unrelevant testimony, far from it. There's still a crucial witness, from whom the court is yet to hear a single word of testimony. In that case, call your witness to the stand at once, counsel. Huh? Yes, my lord. Tomorrow, if possible. The witness is already on his way and scheduled to arrive tomorrow. Who on earth is this crucial witness? I didn't even know the defense was allowed to call witnesses. Seishiro Jigoku. The very man allegedly murdered by the Reaper. Judge Jigoku! You found him! Yes! We did! But investigations of every policing resource in the capital suggest that Jigoku is already dead. Well, because he's not in Britain right now. How in the name of God did you find the man? He was located in France during the recess at the port of Dunkirk. Thanks to one of Mr. Herlock Sholmes' famous deductions. Herlock Sholmes? Inspector Gregson almost certainly met with Mr. Jigoku on the night of his death. Because along with Prosecutor Sogi, Gregson was on a mission to assassinate the man. Which means that Seishiro Jigoku is the sole witness. Who can clarify exactly what happened aboard the SS Grouse on the 31st of October? Ooh! Wait, so we have to move this entire thing to tomorrow, I guess. Well, it would appear that it's too soon to move to oh my god! Adjudication at this point. Don't look at me like that. You don't even speak English yourself. Huh? Huh? Sleepyhead. The prosecution concurs. The court must hear Mr. Jigoku's testimony. No judgment should be passed until all testimony has been considered. Exactly. What is this? Alright. In that case, I hereby call the end of today's proceedings. Court will reconvene at the same hour tomorrow. No objections from either side? No, my lord. No objections, my lord. I don't think Strongheart likes the fact very much that two Japanese people who, you know, technically have nothing to do with the British court are making history with this very important trial. We live to fight another day by the skin of our teeth. It's interesting. Ooh, to be continued. Okay. Wow. All of this took us over 2 hours. And we're just getting started. Oh my god. The unexpected hold of proceedings sent a clamor around the courtroom. But outside the Bailey, where Londoners knew nothing of the secret trial within, it was a typical still night. Then, at a little past 8 o'clock that evening, Mr. Sholmes and his partner returned to Baker Street. Ooh! 3rd November, 7 p.m. Sholmes suit. We've returned, my dear fellows. Welcome back to Britain, and thank you for your timely help. Think nothing of it. I believe you've had an even more worrying day than Mikotoba and I know. You could say that. We were on the brink of defeat in court earlier. So this prosecutor Asogi had you on the ropes, did he? And he's your best friend. Boyfriend, you say? Well, he's not really the man I knew in Japan anymore. Kazuma's changed. Oh, Mr. Naruhodo. I mean, it's incredible to think that he'd even entertain the idea of acting as the Reaper's assassin. Well, nevertheless, you must introduce me. After all, I've only ever met the young man as a corpse. When all this started, almost a year ago now. Mr. Sholmes still hasn't told us the truth about what really happened back then. About the motivation for what he himself described as a great detective's lie. Now then, I must say, it's really quite a journey all the way to France. Isn't it? Well, it is another country, Mr. Sholmes. So, what news of Jigoku? We took him to Scotland Yard. The investigating detectives here have a lot of questions for the man. Poor Professor Mikotoba. This must be quite a shock for him. Yes. I picked this up at the telegraph office on our way home. What is it? Surely you haven't forgotten already? I put upon you for the matter only yesterday. You put upon me, Sholmes. I had to fill out your telegram to Japan and foot the bill as well. Oh, you've had a reply already. What did you write and who did you write? What was so urgent though, Mr. Sholmes? Such matters can wait until later. I'm far too hungry for an involved conversation at present. Of course you are! Well, that's good news, because supper's ready, everyone. Wait, who's making the 10-year-old cook? What a feast it is. If I were none the wiser, I'd think the trial were won already. Roast beef, kippers, whatever that is. Stew, steak, and kidney pie. Yorkshire pudding. Tomorrow could be a very long day, so eat up. In that case, I think I'll seat myself just here. This place appears to be the only one set with a helping of pheasant. Pheasant? As well. Oh, sorry, Hurley, not there. Whatever not. Are we in set places this evening? Yes, and that place is for Susie's daddy. For me? That's right. I made it specially for you, Professor Mickey. I see. Well, that's terribly kind. Mickey! Professor Mickey! Oh. It's a shame, really. What do you mean? Well, for a brief moment, I believed it. That Susie and I were half-sisters, I mean. Oh! Uh-oh. Ooh. Iris, do you mean... Yes, I know now. I overheard yesterday. I secretly listened in to the conversation you had after I tricked you all into thinking I'd left. What? Huh? Oh, he's down! The misunderstanding arose because of that autopsy report from 10 years ago. But actually, it turned out that neither Dr. Wilson nor Professor Mikotoba are Iris's father. Ha! That's what I said. Yes, about that, Iris. You know, I know. You can tell me at the moment. Oh, Iris. The pheasant is by way of an apology. I'm sorry for eavesdropping. Oh, no, that's quite alright. Then why don't I get any apologetic pheasant? Because you're a dumbass! So just who is Iris's father? I suppose that's not something we'll be finding out today.
It's a mystery.
So then let us dine, while our largely pheasantless plates are still piping hot. Of course, we're just going to ignore that until it's, you know, good to have and timely to examine as a big plot point again. A fine idea, Sholmes. It all looks absolutely delicious. Eat as much as you like. There are always seconds. Aw, man. This could be our last chance to ask questions before tomorrow's trial. About the telegram from Japan and about Kazuma. I can't let this opportunity slip away. Ooh, what the fuck? Why are you sitting like that?
Why is he sitting like that?
Also, 1 second, because I finally have a chord record. What does it say on this thing? Members are required to assemble on the main deck at 10 PM in order to review evacuation procedures. The drill will take 20 minutes. Crew to resume duties as soon as the drill is over. Oh, it's only for the crew, okay. And this is the small machine part, yeah? That has a funny button on top. You see these little things all over the place, don't you? It's a part on top of a pocket watch that you twist to set the time, isn't it? It's called the crown, I believe. A watch would be quite useless without one. Crown? Like what sits on top of a monarch's head? That's a very grand name for such a tiny part. But actually, yes, Mr. Nanodo. If this is a crown, I have a feeling I might have seen a monarch around here somewhere with a very bare head. If by monarch you mean pocket watch, then I'm quite sure you have. Of course we have. We have a pocket watch right here. That is missing its crown. What do you think, Mrs. Sato? I feel sure I know exactly what will fit here. Really, I was just thinking precisely the same thing. We're about to see that the little round component is actually part of Inspector Greggson's broken pocket watch. Really? I was just thinking precisely that too. Ooh, oh, am I supposed to do that right now? Well, I'm doing it. A perfect fit. I knew it. Alright, perhaps you know it. I'll make a note of this new information at once. Nice! It's now clear that it's the missing crown of Inspector Gregson's pocket watch. Hey hey! Ho ho! Oh. Well, it's probably going to be important sometime tomorrow, but I wanted to check it now. Hi, why are you sitting like that? Mr. Sholmes, what are you doing? Oh, surely it's evidently clear that I wasn't brooding over Mikotoba's refusal to share his pheasant with me. Nevertheless, I felt the need to withdraw from the social circle for a while and look on with hungry eyes. Sorry, Hurley, but I cooked that pheasant especially for Susie's daddy. Damn! Even though I've played the role of father to you for far longer. Aww! Mr. Sholmes, could I discuss some things with you? Oh! Certainly, my dear fellow. I find myself quite in the mood for a spell of conversation. Ooh, that was a quick change. No doubt, you're hungry to learn more of my deep love of the game. I can probably contain my curiosity on that one. You needn't look at me in that fashion. In what fashion? It seems that before we discuss the pheasant, we have some rather unpheasant matters to discuss. Okay. Yeah. At least I'm pronouncing pheasant correctly, because that would have rhymed with unpleasant. Which he was probably substituting for. Anyone else here, by the way? No? No? Okay. So what about that telegram? So what was in a telegram you received back from Japan then? Ah, this. I thank my lucky stars that arrived in time. Record fund is indicated, duplicate follows. Kazuma Sogi, Shin, T, Gregson, and Jay will. Oh, this one! It's getting late for me, so I've got to go. Thanks for the stream. Until next time. Okay, thank you for coming. Good night. What? Those 4 names? We've come across that exact same list before. They came up in that unforgettable case last spring. What appeared to be a simple case of aggravated murder turned out to be masking monumental intrigue. A plot that involved the sale of British governmental secrets to foreign states. In exposing the means by which those secrets were being leaked, we deciphered a fragment of a message. Oh man, this was a very long time ago. Wait, so... Kenshin Asogi, Asashin, Tobias Gregson, and I forget his first name, Wilson. But we didn't find the names out until the case was over, and we never did get to the bottom of what they meant. All we knew was that the informant had been sent by somebody in the British government to somebody in Japan. So, why are the names coming up again now? Yes, where did the sender of your telegram discover them, Mr. Sholmes? I have here the message I had wired yesterday. Allow me to read it to you. Enter Judge Jigaku's office undetected and investigate telegram records. Expect to find a communication from Britain dated 1 year ago. List of 4 names, need by tomorrow. Naruhodo. I send it to a detective I know who specializes in clandestine missions of this nature. You asked Inspector Hosonaga to undertake such an onerous task for you. And in my name. I wonder what guys he opted for this time. I love the guy. We haven't seen him. You know, because he's stuck in Japan, so we have not seen him again, but he's a lovely character. I like him very much. My dear fellows, it was a matter of great urgency, you understand? Anyway, the list of names was found in Seishiro's office, as Sholmes predicted. So you mean that mysterious collection of names that was sent from Britain to Japan was sent to Judge Jigaku? He was the intended recipient. I don't believe it. But that doesn't answer the question of what the list of names actually signifies. They're all people involved with the Professor case. Or with the Reaper. I did formulate a hypothesis about that. But without a shred of evidence, I couldn't possibly have shared it. Mr. Sholmes looks deadly serious for once. A telegram from Inspector Hosonaga in Japan with details of the telegram he managed to locate by stealing into Judge Jigoku's office. Okay. That tragedy we had to go through under Esasporia, it was all for nothing. Kazuma wasn't dead at all. But Sholmes probably saved his life. Because everyone thought he was dead. We were completely taken in by the lie you told us, your great detective's lie. I don't know for what reason someone would want Kazuma dead, but... I took no pleasure in deceiving you. However, at the time, all that concerned me was preventing the young man's study tour from taking place, whatever the cost. Wait, what? I capitalized on the events that transpired to see that he was sent back to Japan. His remains, you mean? Precisely, Miss Susato. And then, I made sure that somebody else was sent to Britain in his stead. Oh my, you mean... The arrangement between our two countries was already in place. One university student lawyer and one judicial assistant to be accommodated on a study tour. In other words, by arranging for someone else to fill the place originally intended for Mr. Asogi. I would successfully prevent the man from arriving on our shores for several years at least. Wait, do you mean to say that it was all in aid of stopping Kazuma coming to Britain? That's why you... Think back, Mr. Naruhodo. Was there not somebody who quite casually urged you to continue on the voyage to England? Yeah, you. The terms of the study tour were negotiated by the Department of Justice in both Great Britain and Japan. In the light of Mr. Asogi's unfortunate death, I'm afraid the study tour can no longer go ahead. My dear fellows, the majority of problems have an extremely simple solution, you know. All you require is one lawyer, and the study tour can continue, surely. But there's no one else with the necessary qualifications, Mr. Sholmes. We know of no other lawyer. The voyage to London still promises a good amount of time. Ample opportunity, I would say, to find yourselves another suitable lawyer. But why? So, you manipulated me. I've often remarked on the extraordinary lengths to which friendship will drive a man. I was quite sure that you would rise to the challenge for your late friend. I don't believe it. But if it was all contrived... I mean, what happened was treated by the authorities as murder. A woman was mistakenly arrested as the perpetrator. What do you suppose became of her? Naturally, I didn't allow the misapprehension to have any serious repercussions. I subsequently explained everything and assisted the unfortunate soul in finding the foreign refuge she sought. I seem to remember Miss Susato and I had some rather strong words for her. Well, she was certainly not devoid of all guilt. She deserved every word, I'm sure. I wonder if she made it to America. But why? I'm afraid I simply cannot comprehend it. Why would you go to such lengths, Mr. Sholmes? Why were you so determined to stop Kazuma-sama from reaching Britain? And don't tell me you cannot tell me at this point in time. The truth is, 12 months ago, there was already a very tangible omen of the impending tragedy, you see. Huh? No, I don't. An omen that, at this very moment in time, is close at hand. An omen of all these tragic events that already existed a year ago is close at hand. We need to find out exactly what Mr. Sholmes knows. Oh. So what do I show you? The list of the names? Is that what you want? There was no room for doubt with your instructions in this telegram, Mr. Sholmes. You were very clear that it was Judge Jigoku's office that should be searched, so... You obviously knew that's where the list of names would be found. Wait, Oh no, why did I say Genshin earlier? It's Kazuma, Sogi, Asashin, Tobias Gregson, and John H. Wilson is his name. But we only learned of those 4 names just over 6 months ago now. And only because they appeared as part of the top secret governmental communications that were leaked. The widow. That's true, yes, but at the time you were unaware of the background. You see, those 4 names were wired to Japan. Around 6 months before that, approximately this time last year in fact, when you were both still in Japan. Huh? It really would be hypocrisy in my part to reprove others for intercepting state secrets. Because after all, I'm perpetually eavesdropping on communications between the British and Japanese governments. Oh, are you now? You're perpetually doing what? How? Never mind the details, but you should know. No secret is safe from Herlock Sholmes, when he has these signs on knowing it. What? Mr. Sholmes, what a fabulous line. Now, 1 month after that list of 4 names was wired to the recipient Jigoku in Japan, Dr. John H. Wilson was murdered. Oh. As soon as I learned of the incident, a hypothesis rapidly took shape in my mind. As it turned out, I was partly correct and partly mistaken. Nevertheless, it was the beginning of all the tragic events that were to follow. Oh. So you wanted to prevent Kazuma from coming here so he wouldn't be murdered? Like... Huh? Mr. Sholmes, please tell us all you know. Tell us about these 4 names and the tragedy to which they're all somehow connected. Four names, yes, tell me. As I sat, when I learned of Dr. Wilson's murder in Japan, my mind immediately turned to those 4 names, because, you see, there was someone else on the list, who I believed to be recently deceased. What? Who? Shin, as it was transcribed in Japanese script, in actual fact, Miss Asa Shin. That was a familiar name to me. She was a professional killer, well known among London's unsavory classes. Oh, I see. But she had completely vanished from existence several months before Wilson's murder. So I came to the logical conclusion that she had herself been killed. And accordingly, I became fearful for the lives of the remaining 2 persons on the list. Ah, Kei Asogi and T. Gregson. Owing to our proximity, I decided to take measures to protect Gregson myself. But I determined it would be safest if young Asogi were to stay away from Bitten. Ah, so that's why you went to such lengths to prevent his study tour from going ahead. Exactly. Well, little did he know, he was not safe in Japan either though, because Asa Shin was quite literally in Japan. She's the one who killed Dr. Wilson. So, you already knew who Kazuma-sama was, Mr. Sholmes? Oh yes, Sholmes and I have exchanged correspondence for years. I'd recounted many tales about Asogi to him in my letters, and the news of Dr. Wilson's death, of course. So, Dr. Wilson's dead then? Oh my god! Oh my god. Oh no, in all our secret talking we completely forgot that we kept it a secret from Iris the entire time that Dr. Wilson is dead. Even if she now knows that he's not her father anyway. Oh fuck. Ah, that's not good. Oh, Iris. I know he wasn't my daddy, but still. That's very sad. I think we all I forgot. We all collectively forgot. Are you doing the expanding brain meme? Am I? I'm so sorry, Iris. We knew the significance of the name, obviously, but we just couldn't bring ourselves to tell you. No. But what you just told us, Mr. Sholmes, doesn't completely tie in with the facts. There's one big hole in your hypothesis. A big hole, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, Asa Shin was very much alive and in Japan. Yes, you mean about Asashin, I presume. Of course. Exactly. She wasn't killed, was she? She was in Japan, posing as a visiting student under the assumed name of Giselle Brett. I'm glad you're keeping map, my dear fellow. But I only became aware of that fact 2 days ago, in the foyer of the Great Waterloo Hotel. Oh! Oh, that's... Oh. And upon hearing that startling revelation, the hypothesis that had formed surrounding those 4 names was completely turned topsy. What? Topsy? Topsy hypothesis. What do you mean when you say your hypothesis was turned topsy, Mr. Sholmes? I had believed all 4 names on the list to be names of victims. However, I was mistaken. Very much so. Asashin was a killer. So this telegram is a list of both victims and killers, is it? Indeed, and it would seem that Miss Shin was dispatched from Britain with the sole intention of dispatching Dr. Wilson. Her visiting student status being merely a front. Huh. Which would of course explain why no motive could be determined for her actions. So the real reason Dr. Wilson was killed by Asashin is because he was the target of an assassination. Informed with that knowledge, fresh consideration of this telegram puts the list in a very different perspective. Wait, so you're telling me because it's written, it's Kazuma, Asashin. Wait, who was the other? Oh, Gregson, and then. So you're telling me that Kazuma was to get rid of Gregson the entire time? He's an assassin? So his study tour of coming to Britain was only a fun so he could get rid of Gregson? If we apply the same logic from Asashin killing Dr. Wilson to him. I don't like that. What do you mean? Well, does it not strike you? There's another among the 4, who subsequently became a visiting student. I don't like that! Wait, you mean... It seems like it, doesn't it? Of course, a name you know only too well. You mean Kazuma? Ho ho ho. He did say in court earlier today. Yes, on the 31st of October I accompanied Inspector Gregson to Dunkirk in order to carry out a mission. And the mission was the assassination of the monk. Young Mr. Sogi accepted that mission a year ago now. Surely not. In conclusion, this document is a contract of sorts. An international agreement, one might say, detailing an assassin exchange. An assassin exchange? How could Kazuma possibly have got involved in something like that? Let's assume that we have 2 parties, each wishing to dispose of a distinct individual. Those 2 parties then make a contract to swap their respective assassination targets. That would then be an assassin exchange. So to begin with, the British assassin is dispatched as a visiting student to Japan where she kills her target. And then, the Japanese assassin is dispatched as a visiting student to Britain in order to eliminate his target. It certainly does sound like an exchange. But what on earth is the point? Don't forget, Naruhodo, that the British assassin at least escaped conviction, thanks to diplomatic immunity afforded by consular jurisdiction. Yes. Such jurisdiction should be null and void under the terms of the new treaty between our 2 countries. So the fact that it was brought into play suggests intervention at the very highest levels. Highest levels? Well, I mean, if the highest acting judge is in on it, sure. That's why I keep saying that I don't trust Jigaku. Well, not for this exact reason. I obviously did not know this far ahead in time. These murders were two sides of the same coin, linked not by a common motive, but by contractual agreement. As such, they appeared utterly unrelated. Yet in truth, the assassins Jesus Christ, were complicit in one singular devilish scheme. That disassociation and the safeguard of diplomatic immunity were, I believe, the motivation behind this plot. But wait a minute, Sholmes. If this telegram really is describing the exchange of assassins as you're suggesting, it would mean that the Japanese killer's target was never Seishiro Jigoku at all. It would mean Asogi's target was actually Inspector Gregson. What? Kazuma was here for Gregson? So just Jigoku wasn't actually the mark? Yes, that's exactly what it would mean. I hold myself personally responsible for failing to keep the inspector safe. Mr. Sholmes. I told him of my fears and implored him to seek a transfer to an overseas position. Obviously, with the young pickpocket in tow. Yes, Gina. Come to think of it, Inspector Gregson did mention that to us at the Great Exhibition, that he'd be transferring to the Paris police and taking Gina with him. But without informing me, he engaged in one last assignment, it seems. And sadly, it turned out to be his very last. This is too much to take in. It is a lot, yeah. Alright everyone, that's quite enough of all that serious talk for one day. Isn't it, Hurley? I mean, look at the time. Quite right, Iris. We must conclude our preparations for tomorrow. What preparations? Well, I think I shall make my way back to my hotel room now. This has certainly been a night to remember. Wait, you guys are just packing your things? We're going home? What? It is a little bit sad, though. I mean, I like the idea of you being my daddy. Because then Susie would have been my big sister. I'm sorry, Iris. I know, Iris. I was thinking quite the same thing. Were you? But if somebody like me would be worthy, I would be delighted to become your sister. Aww! That's so cute! But really? Yes, without question. So, you teach me all the ways, you know, to throw Runa to the floor? Can Mikatoba adopt Iris? I'm not sure, because I'm not sure where her exact stand is. Because, I mean, she's living with Sholmes, so I'm guessing that Sholmes has some kind of adoption papers for her, otherwise she would not be allowed to live with him, I think. But I don't know. Of course, it would be my pleasure. You didn't have to agree quite so readily. Oh, but wait a minute. If Susie's going to be my big sister, you could be my big brother if you want, Bruno. Huh? I mean, yes, of course. If you have me, I'll gladly be your brother. Aww. Well done, Iris. We must always be mindful of feelings. I've raised you so well. Ha 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 ha. You know, Sholmes is a lot less than detective his time. Yeah, he's a little. Because being sensitive is your strong suit, naturally. But this just tells me one thing, that Sholmes is very much playing around most of the time. He's a very intelligent person. He just gets on everyone's nerves, so they think him to be a weird guy. And then he's working on stuff like this in secret. Right, I'm going to work extra hard for tomorrow now, because it's for my big brother and sister. What is all this talk about preparing for tomorrow? Preparing what? Heh. You just have to wait and see. Oh. Sholmes is definitely an interesting character. Definitely. Definitely. Good luck in court tomorrow. I'm expecting a sterling performance. I'll do my very best, of course. So the overnight break in the trial's proceedings became a crucial turning point, exposing new truths while posing new conundrums. That list of 4 names on the telegram in Judge Jigaku's office, and the extraordinary assassination plot in which my best friend had somehow become involved. I felt as though I had been plunged into an even greater darkness all of a sudden. But at the same time, I felt sure I would see the light again soon.
Yeah.
Because I was lucky enough to have the most wonderful family in the world standing steadfastly behind me. Aww. That is really cute. I wish Shams was wearing his normal outfit right now. Then they would have all fit together. To be continued. Oh, interesting. A to be continued right after another to be continued. But this is actually very good for me. Because that's where I'm going to stop, I think. Technically I could go longer. Even though it is a Wednesday. But it is the middle of the week. And also I feel like we put down the best groundwork we possibly could have to prepare for Saturday. Because it has been 3 hours and I feel like the real final thing is really only going to start next time, it seems. So... No, don't do that. No, we're not going to the Old Bailey courtroom. We're going back to the title. I just saved, it's fine. This is interesting. So there's an entire assassination plot going on and Kazuma was apparently sent here as an assassin. I don't want to believe it. I feel like I have to, but I don't want to. I don't want to think that he's an assassin, that he was trained for this, that this is what he was supposed to do here in Britain. But we'll see, we'll see. We're going to see that on Saturday, finally. It's crazy. It is. It's really wild. But I love where it's going, definitely. Wrong emote. It's fine. Oh god, okay. Interesting. Now the question is, where do I send you guys to? Who's oh, lots of people live, even though it's a Wednesday. Interesting. Who's doing so? Oh! Oh! Twitch just died. I was trying to search for people we could raid and Twitch just died. Do you think you'll be able to finish the game on Saturday? I think so, yes. I asked a friend last week, I think before we even finished the 4th case, and she was like, the 5th case is definitely not longer. Like, actually the 2nd case was the longest one of all of them so far, so I think we should definitely be able to make it. So I'm guessing it's probably going to be something between 4 or 5 hours. I'maybe. If it's longer, it's okay. That's okay. It will be on a Saturday, so I can go for a long time. I'll make sure to rest my voice before that. But yeah, you try to be there. Oh, thanks. I will be delighted if everyone can come. If you want to catch up, I don't know up to which part I have it on YouTube, but I think you can catch up on almost the full thing, and the last streams are still on Twitch here. If there's anything you were missing out on. Yeah, thank you for the nice stream. Thank you for coming. Thank you. I'm going to send you guys over to Blue, who is playing Corpse Party, and it seems it's the first Corpse Party. And personally, while I don't think I'd be able to play them myself, I'm a very big fan of the Corpse Party games. You think you managed to catch up to most of them until now? Okay. That's great. And again, if anyone wants a summary or anything while I do the stream, that's perfectly fine. You just tell me. in stream, and I'll try my best. Not to pressure you, but the raid message. Oh yeah, I will not forget the raid message this time. Thank you for the reminder. Okay, let me just get this started. Here's the raid message that and this time it is the right emote. Because I had the second tier emote in it, but this time the emote version is the one for the first tier, so everyone can use that. You info a lot for the moment of the case. Hope you have fun. Thank you. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. There's going to be a lot in there, I feel, but I can feel the truth forming in my head. Soon we're going to know. But yeah, I'll see you on Friday for Valhalla. So, thank you all for coming tonight. I see you all soon.
Good night. And bye bye.